Drumroll finishes, and the target is hit.
And that's it. We've got a brilliant side and it comes on finals night, and it's another
Dirty Harrysson! Robin Van Velzen!
Hello and welcome to the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, where we have the finals night for Double Trouble 3. There have been some huge names in action this week, and some of them have come a cropper at this brutal format. But tonight we have our Super 6 finalists still standing, fighting it out for the Double Trouble 3 title.
This was a comprehensive 3-0 win. Double 8 for a perfect start. So 74 for the match to round off another incredible display. Double top.
Game shot on the man!
Tops for a third win for Steve Beaton. 20 and the bull. Bullseye. The steely-eyed focus is open for interpretation. His double top. Double 8 for an 11 darter. Oh, yes!
Harrysson.
Who will lift that trophy indeed? Well, it could be one of the former champions, both of them in action tonight. Neil Duff, who won Double Trouble 1. Robert Thornton won the second edition. Can one of them do the Double Trouble Double? Yeah, they're certainly up for it, aren't they? They certainly want it. Scott Mitchell alongside us this evening. How much would it mean to both of those players, first of all, to try and get their hands on that title again?
Look, dart players want to produce first every time they go out. They want to be the first to do something before somebody else. If they can be the first one to win this twice, that will suit both of them just fine.
Yeah, it's an incredible format, isn't it, as well, Double Trouble? It causes a lot of problems for players. We've seen some big names not make it.
Yeah, it's been an extraordinary week, and it's been full of drama from sort of Group A, and you know, there was only a short gap between the top and the bottom there, and we expected that. That's why it's a specials week, and this week has been very special with it.
Right, let's tell you who is in action at the Double Trouble finals night. Neil Duff was the first ever victor of a Super Series Double Trouble tournament. Will the former world champion be on top again tonight? Steve Beaton was runner-up at the Legends League. Can the Bronze Adonis take gold this week? Leonard Gates is yet to taste glory on the Live Lounge stage. Can the American star finally earn his Super Series stripes? Andreas Harrysson has won the ultimate prize in Portsmouth. Will the Series 7 winner be crowned the king again this evening? Robert Thornton is the defending champion, and the World Grand Prix winner has already hit the highest average in double start history this week. And Super Ted Evetts completes the lineup. Could the former World Youth Champion be the one to hit the winning double tonight? Yeah, fabulous lineup. Many people said it was the best lineup we've ever had in a week here at the Super Series. Is it the best finals night lineup that we've ever had?
It's got to be pushing border in it. I think so. I think there's nothing between them. I think for me, to watch a dart game, I want them to go up there before that first leg, and I don't know who's going to win. And that's exactly what we're going to be giving people tonight.
Yeah, 5 of the players in action came from Group A, and this is how that ended up. Leonard Gates made it through, but I mean, look how competitive that group was from top to bottom. We know that Neil Duff's made it. Simon Whitlock, the only one from that group missing out. It just showed there, 4th place on 16 points, 2 points off winning the group himself there, Steve Beaton.
Just the 4 games as well, from top right the way through to bottom. Sometimes we see a tail end, Charlie, not really manage it. That wasn't that group at all. It really was a tough group. And Leonard was pleased to get through. I've spoken to him this evening already. He said he was happy to have a couple of days off. So, and I spoke to Steve Beaton, and he wanted a couple of days off. So, yes, it's very, very funny how the players see it.
We always use the word brutal to describe this format, and it must be difficult to find some consistency in it, not just because of the double start, but because of the reduced legs as well, best of 5, of course. Leonard Gates found that consistency in Group A, winning 3 matches every day, and that was enough to win the group.
Yeah, the thing with double start is what people don't understand is the emphasis is on more of the double that you start with rather than the double you go out with. We're used to that double going out, so it's you put more emphasis as a player on that double going in. And Leonard came here and kind of set his stall out. He does it every time he comes here. He knows who are the players to target, who's the ones he wants to beat. And I think he probably got through that group not winning as many games as I thought he would need.
Let's talk about Group C, which, if Group A had drama and was close, look at this. Group C, 2nd and 3rd there. Every single metric between Steve Beaton and Adrian Gray level, meaning that Steve Beaton, Scott, actually went through by having a slightly higher average. Look at that, 0.7, the difference between him and Adrian Gray getting through to finals night tonight.
I'll tell you how tight it is. There are 4 or 5 Adrian Gray fans in here tonight with tickets. They thought he was going through. That's how tight it was. I mean, we don't have count back that far back with equal on everything, right the way back to the average. And it just goes to show what a difficult Group C that was.
And Steve Beaton, of course, dropping off the tour, electing to leave the tour, so it's not like he wasn't good enough to play in the professional tour. Finds himself back at finals night. He was runner-up at the Legends League at the start of this year. How determined will he be to get his hands on a trophy here quite early in the season?
Well, you're never more current than when you come off the tour. That's how I felt when I came off the tour. So he'll want to turn that into something sort of in the first few months. Didn't quite happen for the seniors a couple of weeks ago. So now he'll be looking at this as his next opportunity to sort of stamp his authority on it. But speaking to him tonight, he's found it a long week. You know, on his first appearance, he got through Group A and had a couple of days off. And he was hoping for that this week, but it didn't quite happen. So, yeah, this is 6 days in a row, and maybe something that Steve's not quite so used to.
Neil Duff finished bottom of Group A, and then he actually avoided all the drama in Group C. He won it at a canter, really. But how many times do we see that? Is he just not a morning person?
I'm unsure with Neil, because I don't know whether it's the travel or what it is, but you know, he's been here enough. You know, he's got a bed out the back. He's got his own room here. He's been here enough. No, I think that there's just something about him that he just doesn't get going on a Monday morning, does he? And that can set the tone for Group A, and it seems to be what he does. But that Group C, he sort of dominated that, got himself in the position where he had nothing to worry about with a few games to go, sat back there in his carpet slippers, didn't he, and watched the rest of the drama unfold. Yeah,
and talking of drama, well, 2 groups were really close, but could not be closer than Group B after the first night of action. When everybody had played their first 4 fixtures, all of them, Scott, had 4 points.
Absolutely. I was actually watching this on the other night, and I was sat there thinking, I am none the wiser. I just spent nearly 4 hours watching darts, and I was none the wiser who was going through, because nobody was shining and saying, I'm going to take command of this.
And there was a highlight that day as well. Robert Thornton actually broke the record for the highest ever average in the double start format. Absolutely brilliant moment for him. And he seems to be the king of this format, of course. He's won the double trouble here. He's won the World Grand Prix. And now he's the world record holder for the double start highest average with a staggering 108. That's brilliant, isn't it?
It's fantastic. And like you say, there's always tournaments. We talk about players and we see it at the PDC level where they say, oh, yeah, he likes this venue, he likes this tournament, he's won this before. For Robert, this is double in. This is double in. This is what he loves. He loves playing this game. He's confident about getting in. He's confident about getting there first. And it's shown because he's won tournament after tournament at this format. So, is it going to be his night? Is he going to win it for the second time? Who knows?
He only just got through, mind. This is how Group B ended up after 2 nights of action. And Robert Thornton, he had a winner-takes-all match with Steve West, landed a brilliant bullseye there. If he'd have lost that match, it would have been West going through at his expense. He missed out on leg difference. Ted Evetts taking 3rd place, but Andreas Harrysson topping that group. And he's won the biggest prize of all here at the Super Series, Andreas Harrysson. He's the kind of player who should sort of thrive in this format, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, because I think Andreas' strongest part of his game is getting out. You know, you just don't want to offer him a chance to get out. So when you add that he's using those doubles now to get in, that tells its own tell. You know, he's one of those that He's a very confident player, and if Andreas lets himself down, it's sometimes the scoring. He'll go 2 on the trot and then add a couple trebleless visits, and sometimes that causes him problem. When he doesn't do that, he's virtually unstoppable.
What about Ted Evetts then? We've seen him here before. Hasn't tasted glory yet, but look, he's a former World Youth Champion. He's in this field tonight of legendary players who've won big titles, including, as we mentioned, Champions Week here for Harrysson. If he were to win tonight, would it be sort of coming of age for Ted Evetts?
Ted Evetts is very soft on the outside, but he's rock hard on the inside, I'm telling you. He has a game in him. He has a determination in him. Don't be fooled by the soft exterior. He knows he has the game to take all these to the limit tonight, and they know he has, which is also the bigger point.
Right, let's have a look at the groups then for tonight. Usual format for a Saturday, apart from the actual match format, of course, with that double in, double out. But Group 1, round robin, Leonard Gates, Robert Thornton, Steve Beaton will all play each other once they've all played each other in Group A this week as well. Group 2 features Harrysson, Duff and Evetts. Scott, I mean, I don't think there's ever any easy groups, but they look particularly tough to call tonight.
They really do, but we've mentioned that the past 2 double trouble winners, one's in Group 1 and one's in Group 2, they'll just be looking to get to that semi-final. They'll be doing enough to try and get out of the group. I think it's a real tough one tonight. I think that I've spoken to some of the players tonight, and they're sort of thinking that what's going on this week doesn't matter now. Now it feels like a straight knockout. It feels like a different competition. The floor show is gone. The big show is to come.
Well, if I have to force you to get off the fence this evening, who would you be saying is the most likely to thrive and win tonight?
You're trying to make my social media go crazy, aren't you? I've got a funny feeling about Neil Duff tonight. I've just got a funny feeling about him. He started the week slowly. He's got better as he's gone on. I'll be surprised if he's not in the final.
Thank you very much, Scott. Right, we're going to do something a little bit different this evening because Henry Deacon has been here watching the action all week, and I'm going to take you next door where he is hiding in the commentary box. We're going to go behind the scenes here at the live lounge, and Henry is waiting, so I think it'll be valuable to get his opinion as well. Henry, good evening.
Welcome along.
How are you doing?
This is the humble abode.
It certainly is, taking people behind the scenes here. Look, you've been here all week. Who has stood out for you, and what has stood out for you?
I think the overall stand, I think sometimes when we have a lineup like this, we say this is the best lineup. In terms of names, in terms of calibre, that was the case. Sometimes it doesn't always live up to that expectation, but I think this week it has. In terms of standout names, I suppose Leonard, in terms of the way that he dealt with Group A, a slow start, changed his strategy, changed the demo, and that gave him some rewards. But outside of him, I think there's a lot of question marks about the other 5, and I just wonder whether he is the person tonight that maybe finally breaks his duck in this building.
There have been a lot of standout moments as well this week. Any favourites?
Well, look, where do we begin? The 108 from Robert Thornton, all-time record in a double-in, double-out competition. It trumps the 106 that Alan Warner had. I know people say it's a shorter format, but numbers are still numbers nonetheless. So you've had that, and I just think the overall pattern of play, I think something with these specials weeks is it is different. It's something that it just breaks up from the norm, doesn't it, of the Super Series format a little bit. And we get to see people like Beaton, Duff and Whitlock that, yes, we see them in the Super Series. We may not actually see them play one another in the Super Series because you don't know how the draw is going to work out in terms of the week they play. So I just think the overall dynamic, I think, is changed from what we usually see. And I think sometimes change can be a good thing.
Well, we've heard what Scott Mitchell thinks. We've now heard what Henry Deacon thinks. Let's see what the bookmakers think. Here are the outright odds for this evening. And they are going with Steve Beaton as a 3-1 favourite. Robert Thornton at 13-2. He's an outsider, but a relatively short outsider for a finals night. Where's the value for you, H?
I mean, how many times do you see the defending champion of a competition, the outsider of the 6 players? I think the bookmakers throughout the course of the year, they're going to stick Steve Beaton, I think, as favourite pretty much all year long. His CV, his reputation, the level he can still play at. I think they're going to stick with him throughout the course of the year as one of their favourites. But I think Leonard Gates at 4-1 is a really, really good bet. If he can carry on the form that he was playing over the course of it. Interestingly, speaking to him earlier on this evening, that some players actually think as they play the 2 weeks, they fatigue towards the end of it. He actually prefers the fact that he's constantly on the board and he feels match reps is the best thing for him. He's been here since the Circus Tavern, literally travelled there to play in his Super Series week and then playing this week. And he's had that little bit of rest, so whether that would be a good thing or not, we'll find out. But I think maybe he's the value bet at 4s.
Well, you're going to upset actually some players and some fancy. But is this someone you don't really fancy this evening? Oh, he daren't answer.
I don't know, because I genuinely, I think outside of Leonard, there's question marks about all 5 of them. I think Neil Duff's peaking at the right time. He's doing what he usually does in a Super Series week. Ted Evetts has been very patchy. I think the good stuff this week has been really good, but I still think he's trying to find that consistency. I think it's been something that for him that he's been lacking for a couple of years now. I think there are steps in the right direction, but I don't think he fully feels he's there. I think for Thornton, I think the format, the double starts are leveler for him.
Certainly could be. Well, Henry is off the fence. He's going for the gates. And Leonard is going to be in action in the first match of the evening, taking on Steve Beaton. And that is coming right up after this break.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrysson. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrysson.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Either side of that, it's been a decent performance, and actually the fact that his average is 81 says a lot about how he's played in the other legs in this contest. So 74 for the match to round off another incredible display. Double top.
Game shot and the match.
And he's been hit by a big performance there from Leonard Gates. Leonard Gates looking for the first ton plus checkout if he can find double 10.
Yeah, can Leonard Gates finally grab glory here at the Modus Super Series? Can he do it on a double in, double out week? The great stateside showman taking on one of the greatest to ever throw a dart in Steve Beaton, former champion of the world, of course. It should be a fantastic opening match and a fantastic evening. 54 years of age, Leonard Gates from Houston, looking to give Steve Beaton a problem or two in this one. Now 60, runner-up at the Legends League, having stepped off the Pro Tour and retiring from professional darts, but still going strong at the Super Series. Everybody in action tonight will be determined to win this coveted crown, certainly in a field of this quality. Paul Hinks, the referee, he's going to enjoy it. Best view in the house, and talking you through every dart are Scott Mitchell and Henry Deacon.
First leg, Leonard to throw first. Game on.
Chris, thank you very much. The Modus Live Lounge here in Portsmouth is a venue built in anticipation. There's been a real hubbub about this building all night long as we get underway in the finals of Double Trouble 3. Leonard Gates,
68.
who won Group A on Wednesday afternoon, takes on Steve Beaton, who is playing in his 6th consecutive
61.
day. These two having contrasting routes through to the final. Leonard Gates has some comfortability in terms of making it out of Group A, whilst the Bonster Donis, well, he had to count back on
60.
averages to secure his passage through to the finals. If you have just joined us this week, a change in format is best of 5 as opposed to the usual Super
36.
Series best of 7. It's a packed house here on the south coast this evening. Springtime has sprung here. The sun is out and shining, but for whom is it going to shine on the righteous, Scott Mitchell?
83.
Well, that's a $6 million question, isn't it, H? It's one of those things. I mean, how... You know, we saw Steve Beaton win Group A a few weeks ago, and
58.
how did he not get through Group A? Him, Whitlock and Duff didn't make it through Group A, and you then start to think, oh, hang on a minute, this really is the fox in the hen house week. This is, you don't know where this is going.
100.
And that proved to be the point, and it went down in Group B, and it went down in Group C. It's been a sensational week of darts, culminating in this finals night, and there's our first 180 of it from Steve Beaton.
It's boisterous inside the Live Lounge tonight, the first 180, and with the calibre and capabilities of the players on show, you don't suspect it's going to be
81.
the last. But what it has done is given Steve Beaton an opportunity to really make some inroads in a leg that for a long time he's been a long way back in.
100. Running your car, 109.
Gates' first chance to take the first leg of the night, looking at 109.
Quite often see this with Leonard. He just stands there and make a decision of which direction he's going to go.
Double 16. Would have been to kick the night off of a
93.
ton topper.
Steve Carr, 66.
And so Beaton should get at least 8 darts. He's going to get 2 at double 8, having hit the bullseye with dart 1.
58.
But those couple of chances
Running
have been
your car,
spurned. And so
16.
Gates double 8 to take the opener.
Statistically, the bullseye was the toughest part of the shot there for Beaton.
Getting shown the first leg, Leonard Gates.
No mistake on the double 8. Leonard Gates takes the opening leg.
Second leg, Steve to throw
In
first.
terms of his
Game
overall
on.
stats for the week, his average over the course of Group A was 80.44, but his finishing stats
79.
was exemplary. 40%, which is the highest of the 6 players that are in the field this evening. And not just is it the biggest of the 6 players in the field, it's the biggest by a good 3%.
108.
Yeah, and over that sort of course of games, that is a big, big gap. It doesn't sound much, but it is.
140.
You look at the 6 players that are in action this evening.
97.
They are all big stage players. Sometimes we're here on a Saturday night and we wonder whether perhaps an ADC qualifier will be overawed by the crowd, by the people that will be in the
93.
auditorium. These are all 6 bona fide throwmen, aren't they, Scott?
Yeah, very much so. And I don't care what tournament you're playing in. And if you drop on one of these 6 players in the first round, you feel pretty hard
44.
done by.
Well, Beaton has 6 darts here from 189 to level proceedings up to 1 apiece.
82.
Of course, missed a couple of darts in the previous leg to get the break. looking to square things up in this opening contest of the night.
100. Steve car 107.
Will feel like he's got 6 here. And he'll be hopeful that he's got 6 here.
91. Leonard car 152.
Heading back to that double 16, double 8 side of the board for Beaton. Is he going to get there? Well, no good from Gates there. That first one all over
44.
the show.
Steve car 16.
Probably overthought it a little bit. Beaton now then for double 8.
8.
Well, it was
When
that
we do a car
exact same
108.
combo that let him down in the previous leg. And it's allowed Leonard the opportunity to get the break. And remember, in a best-of-5 format, every single break pretty much means double. And this to double the lead.
Once again, Leonard doing a Leonard, psyching himself up. Just double checking with our referee whether that is in or out. Well, that one's in. So we're looking at double 18.
90.
And he wires it.
Steve car 8.
So Beaton up in the same region, looking for double 4 now.
No score. Leonard car 18.
That was a bit of a flyer.
Well, he had another look at it to try and believe that it was as far away from the target as it was. And so Gates will come back looking at double 9 to double up. Steve Beaton's missed 8 darts and a double in this contest. And Leonard Gates is punished to the hilt. He's 2-0 to the good. He's got the break and now has the darts to win the match. He was 4-1 with the bookies before a dart was thrown. But the way he was playing, he did look like a real potential value and a fancy with the odds compilers. And he could open up with a comprehensive win against Steve Beaton, who, remember, started off as the 3-1 favourite to win this evening.
No score.
So both struggling to get in here. 3 darts thrown. No doubles hit. Leonard changing the remit. Started on 14s in the last visit, then went back to tops this one. Thought about 14s in the winner, where Steve is generally top of the board.
36.
And he gets away. And back in the day when we used to play double in, single leg, put your name up to mark, it was good as a ton. Good as a ton, hitting whatever double to get in.
160.
Not quite as good as a 160 though.
Well, Gates is eventually off, and once he's off, he's perfect.
99.
You get the sense that this is a crowd that's come here for different players and for different reasons. And when you look at the lineup
100.
that's on show tonight, Scott, when you think it's only £5 a ticket to get into the venue, it's probably £5 well spent.
100.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a feeling Gates has changed his darts. Because they're different flights now. I reckon he's changed barrels slightly.
140.
There has been a fair bit of tinkering with Leonard, particularly in terms of the flight and the stem combination, but whatever changes he's made has been
82.
for the better, because he now leaves himself on the cusp of victory. 6 darts on 101, and for Steve Beaton, the worst possible start. Trouble 19 isn't going to go this time. Beaton said that he felt tired after his defeat, or after his Group C campaign, shall I say, yesterday.
49.
First time he's played all 5 days in a Super Series campaign. And it looks as if his next match is going to be an eliminator match for him.
52.
Because Gates is looking to close it out here. Looking at 52 to complete a 3-0 win. 2 darts in his hand, a double 16 and now double 8. Completes the job.
Leonard Gates.
Leonard Gates off to the perfect start. A 3-0 victory against Steve Beaton. And the bookmaker's favourite to go on and win tonight is off to the worst possible start. The freshness of Leonard Gates beats the fatigue of Steve Beaton. A 3-0 victory for the American. He's off to the perfect start. Coming up after the break, it's Andreas Harrysson up against Ted Evetts.
you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrysson. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrysson.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where it is finals night at the 3rd edition of our Double Trouble Specials week. And it's living up to its name already, certainly as far as Steve Beaton is concerned. He's just gone down 3-0 to Leonard Gates, the American ace, who now has a foot in the semi-finals already. Hoping for a similar start, the two players about to get the Group 2 action underway, Andreas Harrysson and Ted Evetts. And before they took to the hockey, both of them spoke to Henry Deacon.
Andreas, into the Double Trouble finals once again. How would you say you've played this week?
I think I played quite decent. I think, yeah, good. I could have played better, but yeah, I think I played good.
In terms of the story of the week, how important was it for yourself? Because Group A was really, really close. How important was it for you to get into Group B?
I think I can go for the win, but yeah, it's always nicer to be in the Group B.
Overnight, everybody was on 4 points in Group B. How weird was that?
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, but you know, it's still in. I thought when you go for Group B, I think you just get one win, then you know you have some chance. You got a chance if you got 4 losses too, but not so big.
So when everyone's on the same points overnight, are you almost thinking this is just a one-day league and you're just taking it who can win like the daily table?
Yeah, go for 2 wins. I thought was my thought. So.
Not sure how aware you are of this of Andreas, but you could make history tonight. No player's ever won a weekly title, a series title, and a specials week title. If you do win tonight, you'd become the first ever player to, as we're calling it, complete the set. How much pride would you have if you were able to do that?
Yeah, of course, a lot. Be really proud. It's just an honor to be in the room with these guys. So.
And just finally, what has the Modus Super Series done for Andreas Harrysson?
I think it's done a lot, really a lot. I am because I'm getting so lucky here, or playing really well when I'm here, and I got my confidence up a lot.
I wish you all the very best tonight. Andreas, good luck. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Ted, into another Saturday, into another Double Trouble Saturday night. What would be your assessment of the week overall?
Been a bit weird, really. I feel like my starting hasn't been too bad so far. Bit dodgy on the outer ring getting out, which is usual for me normally down here. So, yeah, just we're here again, so it's another opportunity.
Has it felt a little bit patchy at times this week?
Last 2 years. It's I've always said it's my consistency that's been letting me down from where I'd like to be, and yeah, it's just been that word again this week. So when it's been good, it's been some tidy stuff. It's bad, it's bad.
What would you say has been the best facets of your play this week?
I think my getting in has been my best thing this week, if I'm honest. I don't feel like my scoring's been great. When it has been, it's been 140, like a couple of trebles a turn, which is lovely. But most of the time, I feel like it's just been my getting in. It's about a couple of anomalies in there. Most of it's been pretty tidy.
Look, let's get the elephant out of the room with straight away, because you know the last time you played here on a Saturday night, you played Rob in the final, didn't quite go to plan. Does that serve as a little bit of extra motivation tonight?
Always, obviously, when you've got a little bit of scar tissue up there, it's you want to make up for it and stuff. But at the same time, I missed the dart to win it last time. It was a tumblers checkout, which they're in or out, aren't they? It's one of those. So yeah, I mean, why can't I go one better? I don't know why.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I think just another opportunity. I'm a bit further along from last time's Double Trouble week here, and yeah, just give it another crack.
Wish you all the very best. Take good luck.
Very much. Cheers.
$110 to level up. He's going to get a dart. A double 16. Superb. 20 and the bull. Bullseye. The steely-eyed focus. Double top. Down we go for 2 10s.
Yeah, it's a packed live lounge in Portsmouth, UK for tonight's Double Trouble 3 finale. And on the stage, a man who has had the ultimate glory here in Portsmouth, Andreas Harrysson, winner of Series 7, taking on Ted Evetts, still in the hunt for his first Saturday night success. Harrysson, the Swedish star, a demon when it comes to playing here at the live lounge. The 49-year-old looking to add yet another title to his growing collection. But Evetts, of course, runner-up in Double Trouble 2, looking to go one better this time. It is Super Ted against the Super Swede, and in commentary, Super Scott and Henry.
Thanks, Chris. Seconds out, game 2 of our night session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Between a man who came so close to lifting this title last time out and a man who could become the first ever to complete the set. If Andreas Harrysson wins here tonight,
game on.
His 4 weekly titles, his Super Series 7 title will be added with a Specials Week title, and nobody has ever done the like before. So history could well stand on the line for this tenacious Swede from Malaysia. But Ted Evetts has got a little bit of retribution on his mind. Change of equipment this week, and he'll be hoping to change his fortunes in this building. Runner-up back in September to Robert Thornton in this competition. Could he go one better, Scott Mitchell?
I honestly see no reason why not?
140.
We've seen Andreas in a real lift of his darting prowess here within the building through the Super Series. We've seen him come from...
140.
He's never been an ordinary player because he's always been that good. But we've seen him sustain levels that we hadn't seen from him in the past. We'd only seen them in flashes.
140.
And this building seems to bring that out in him. Brings the best out in Andreas. He's a real likeable guy as well, who does amazingly well with the language when I don't speak any Swedish. But we do have one understanding between the two of us. We love Speedway.
141.
And he goes to Melilla and watches the Speedway and the Grand Prix at Melilla, and he keeps inviting me out there to go and watch some of the Speedway with him, and I must do it because
41.
I've never seen
Teddycar
any Speedway in
140.
Sweden. So I'm sure we'll be getting together at some point when we can find a break in our calendars to get together and head to the Speedway. But he's just an all-round top guy, and I think, you know, the sky's the limit for him.
Well, just when it looked like he was going to motor
100.
through the first
Andreas
leg,
Sultan,
Ted Evetts
100.
has put his foot on the gas himself. And by not finding the trouble 19 there, has presented the opportunity
76.
for Super Ted to get the break of throw,
40.
leaving tops after 12. Double 10, one left. And a
30.
failure to get means
Andreas Sultan,
that Andreas
24.
Harrysson returns to double 12. To
Game
take the
shot on the
opening
first
leg
leg,
from under
Andreas
Ted Evetts'
Harrysson.
grasp. I know there was only 501 points in
Second
that
leg,
leg like
Ted
any
to
leg,
first.
but it
Game
felt like
on.
there was some ebbs and flows in it.
Yeah, there were indeed, and it's a nice third dart there, squeezed between the two from Super Ted. This is what Andreas does. He's usually a first dart
120.
merchant, whether it's getting in or getting out. And I said at the top of the show, sometimes if there's a question, which there are very few, about Andreas's ability,
59.
sometimes he gets lost in the middle of the legs. Sometimes it's just not quite there. He'll start off with a couple of scores and have a bad one, and then maybe follow it with not quite a good one, and then before you know it,
55.
the legs got away from him.
In terms of power scoring, nobody has hit more 180s than Andreas Harrysson. Granted, he did
99.
play the full quota of 5 days, 24 over the course of the group. And you feel like in this format, if you could double successfully enough, and then you can back it up with power
96.
scores, it's just going to make it incredibly hard to beat.
Yeah, it does, and you know, don't be conned by Ted Evetts' good looks and smooth charm and everything else.
99.
He's a real battler inside. Don't look at the exterior and think, oh, what a lovely young man. He is a lovely young man. There's no two ways about that. But on the inside, he has a fire in the belly
140.
and a dragon inside him that really does drive him on and push him on. You have to have it as a dart player. It's like compulsory, particularly at this end of the game.
94. Andreas Sultan,
You have to
90.
be able to accept defeat on the chin as well.
The bullseye for Andreas didn't even
Game shot on the
contemplate the
second
treble
leg.
because the
Andreas
bullseye was hit
Harrysson.
as perfectly as that. Harrysson gets the break.
Third leg,
He
Andreas
opens up a
to
2-0
first.
lead.
Game on.
And the former Super Series champion is in cruise control of this contest against the former World Youth Champion.
$36.
I've met two of Andreas' sons and they have exactly the same beard as Andreas. There's 3 of them. All you do, you want to get them in a headlock and shear them and make a woolly jumper out of them.
For those of you that are interested in commentary box bingo, that's the first farm reference of the
80.
night.
$60.
In terms of the starts of the year, Andreas has been very busy across the circuit. He played at the UK Open last week. He lost at the last 96 stage to Dominic Grulich after a victory against Scott Baker in the first round. He also lost in the final of the first PDC Nordic and Baltic event of the year. That was to Oscar Lukasiak. He's actually gone on to get his tour card now. Well, who said romance was dead?
60.
They've come out to see you, H.
$140.
They've come to watch good darts and they're getting some good darts on this Saturday night. But this third leg very much up in the offing. Evetts is taking a slender lead against the throw.
100.
Tunn leaves himself first to finish, but Harrysson will probably from this point onwards now feel favourite for the leg. Particularly if he can find another one of them.
125.
And it's that kind of craft in those types of positions which makes them incredibly difficult to break down. And this would be the biggest finish of the week so far. The 164 isn't going to go, and so Harrysson will return for 97 to wrap it up.
64. Andreas Rukar, 97.
Yeah, Andreas going in for the 97. Ted Evetts hasn't done a lot wrong here.
$77. Ted Rukar, 100.
You sense that this is the last chance he's going to get to keep himself alive in this contest. Harrysson sat on a double to win it. Evetts is going to get one dart at double 10 to save it.
80.
But the target he's missed is the target his opponent wants to secure a 3-0 win.
Game
No mistake.
Andreas Harrysson.
And Andreas Harrisson's quest to complete the set begins with a perfect start. A 3-0 victory against Ted Evetts gets himself up and running. For Ted, a disaster start. He's going to have to win, and he's going to have to win big against Neil Duff in his next match. Coming up after the break, it's a meeting between Steve Beaton and Robert Thornton.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie McGuire, 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least two handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score, leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last two darts, but he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Gay wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes going to be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the First one, he's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's giving George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job done.
Shot and the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
Welcome back to finals night at Double Trouble 3. Here's what's happened so far, and it has been plain sailing for Leonard Gates and Andreas Harrysson. Gates out of the gate really quickly, 3-0 in beating Steve Beaton. Then Andreas Harrysson mirrored that scoreline with a fantastic start against Ted Evetts, leaving Beaton and Evetts with it all to do. And Gates and Harrysson, well, pretty much through. It'd take a huge turnaround in their fortunes for them not to be. It'd involve a 9-dart shootout. Maybe we'll get that at Double Trouble. A question, actually, for the organisers. Do you have to start on a double in a 9-dart shootout tonight? Scott, really easy for Harrysson and Gates.
Yeah, I mean, both games went with the darts, which is unusual in double start. Usually, you know, that's the leveller, being that it's double start. But yeah, that was an unusual one because you'll be pretty gutted. I mean, poor Ted Evetts there. His average was not a million miles away from Andreas Harrysson. He just had that one dart at the double and he didn't hit it, and it's just so harsh. You know, he looks like he's played an awful game, and he hasn't at all. He's lost 3-0, and he was right there with him in the average. So it can be harsh, it can be cruel, this game, but nobody's out of it just yet.
Yeah, Steve Beaton will be out of it, though, if he loses this next match against Robert Thornton. In fact, if Thornton gets one leg, that will see Leonard Gates through. For Steve, how does he regroup so quickly? Because there hasn't been an awful lot of time since that defeat.
No, and I think when you're in a group situation with the double trouble and it's double in, there's no real panic. But now, tonight, it always feels like a knockout. So it adds pressure with those double it in, and he's got to get in. He's got to get in quick, and he's got to get out quicker. And he had 8 darts at a double in that first one to get out. So it's not the Steve Beaton we would usually see.
And if there is any player you don't want to face in a double start format to save your skin, it must be Robert Thornton. Such a specialist in this format, isn't he? World Grand Prix winner, now the world record holder for the highest average in the format. He will be licking his lips at the prospect of putting Steve Beaton out now.
Absolutely. He knows that Steve Beaton will be a threat further in the tournament tonight. So if he has a chance to get rid of him now, you know, that crafty little fella, he will take him out. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, and he will be through, of course, if he wins this match. Robert Thornton takes on Steve Beaton in a clash of tungsten titans. And Henry Deacon spoke to both players before this evening's action got underway.
Steve, a dramatic day yesterday to get here on Saturday. What would be your overall observations of the week so far?
Obviously, it's been a long week. I've been away since last Saturday now, and yeah, I mean, it is a tiring week. You know, playing darts every day. You know, that was the whole reason I was going to retire, really, to slow down a bit. But it's one of them things you got to get used to. You know, I've had a good old rest today, so I'm raring to go tonight now.
You mentioned when we were speaking to you in the studio yesterday, you felt a little bit. Is that because it's been a while since you played that much darts over that case of time? Because obviously on the Pro Tour circuit, it's only really COVID when you played 5 days consecutively, really.
Yeah, and I find this a bit different. Double start, you know, short format, 5 legs. You know, I find the straight start a lot easier. You know, when we were playing best of 7, you get straight into it then. And yeah, it's been a difficult week really, but you know, I was fortunate yesterday and got through.
Different dynamic tonight. It's a little bit more cutthroat. There's an audience in there. Does it feel like a different tournament now?
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the week, it doesn't really matter what you do in the week. It all comes down to Saturday. So, you know, you don't have to be top of the group. You know, it's how you perform tonight, really. So I'm coming in with the attitude, you know, I've got to play well tonight and win it, you know.
All about peaking at the right time?
Well, hopefully, yeah. See how it goes. It could all go peed on, but, you know, it's one of them things, isn't it?
Well, I wish you all the very best, Steve. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Robert, another Saturday here at the Super Series, but a dramatic way to get there last night.
Yeah, I mean, had to play Steve in the last game decider, which I didn't really like, but both of us knew what was at stake, and we were up there and gave it our all, and I won it.
Overall this week, how would you assess the way you've played?
It's been kind of in and out. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I wasn't great, but then Thursday I played really well, Friday I played well, but I lost games I felt I should have won.
In terms of the double-in, double-out format, what is it about it that seemingly brings a good side out of you?
I don't know. I just think everybody's on a level playing field doing it, and you've got nothing to lose just to start with a double, do you know what I mean? So, I love it.
Defending champion, does that add a little bit more pressure when you come into a week like this?
No, not really, because you just take it as the next one, do you know what I mean? It's been a while since we did the last one, and I'm looking forward to playing tonight and see how it goes.
And I'm going to ask the same question, but in a different way. In terms of tonight, how much would you relish the chance of possibly retaining the title? No one's ever done that to a specials week before.
Well, I've got to try double hard now. You've pointed it out. Yeah, no, it would be absolutely brilliant if I managed to do it.
And in terms of fields, you've been here a lot of times, Robert. Is this up there with one of the toughest finals night fields you've ever faced?
Definitely. You look at the players that's in it. Definitely. This has got to be one of the toughest nights ever.
Well, wish you all the very best, Robert. Good luck.
Thanks, Henry.
Thornton to claim his second win of the night. Double 10. It's a 3-2 win for the Four. Six starts from here. He may only need the 3 because he pins double 10 perfectly. Bullseye for Thornton. Bullseye for the break.
Yeah, well, I suppose a few people wish they were here watching the double trouble action, but don't be wishing you were here. Make sure you are here in future. If you want to be here at the Live Lounge, scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen, get your tickets for any Super Series Saturday night and be part of that audience that are getting a VIP experience watching legends of the hockey in this double trouble finale tonight. Tickets for every week, including Champions Weeks and the Specials Weeks, available at dartshop.tv. And you might be up close and personal with Steve Beaton. Who wouldn't want that? Well, the Bronze Adonis, he might be wishing he was here in a moment or two because he is on the brink of elimination. If Robert Thornton can get the better of Beaton in this one, then that will be Steve done at double trouble this time around. A 3-0 defeat at the hands of Leonard Gates in the opening match means that Beaton must win this one or he is out. Thornton wins and he goes through with Gates. In fact, if Thornton gets one leg in this match, that will be enough to send Leonard Gates through as the first semi-finalist. Henry Deacon and Scott Mitchell are very much here and they will talk you through all the action.
Here in presence for Game 3 of the night, Steve Beaton and Robert Thornton. And so for Steve Beaton, it is all on the line here. A week's worth of work based upon this contest against Robert Thornton, who could get his job in terms of getting out the group stage done with a game to go with victory here. And for Leonard Gates, if Thornton wins any leg in this match, as mentioned at the start, he will be
40
through to the finals, into the semi-finals. Thornton one leg, Gates will be there. Beaton off and running, third dart in hand. Thornton
60.
off and running, second dart in hand. And this meeting between two real legends of the sport.
One of the
And that's Scott Mitchell, the first max.
First max of this match. Beaton had one in his previous
95.
match, but it came to no avail. One thing you have to respect about Steve Beaton, he's had longevity, but he hasn't changed his dart
40.
very much over that duration. There's a few extra rings here and maybe a different colour here, but the barrel diameter, circumference, length, shape,
80.
it's been the same forever. And those oversized pear-shaped flights that he designed himself back in the day.
99.
And everybody looked weirdly at him and go, hey, bigger pear shape, what are you talking about? Continues to use them to this day.
140.
He's found a formula, hasn't he, that's worked for him, and he's stuck with it. And who could argue against a career which has lasted as long as his, that something has or hasn't worked. World champion, of course, back in 96.
84.
World master back in 93.
126.
33 consecutive World Championship appearances. Thornton looking to get up and running with a ton plus checkout. It's the bullseye.
101.
It's not to be this time.
Supercar 58.
Yeah, they've been playing that standard for 33 years and make World Championships for 33 years in a row is absolutely outstanding.
18. Car 25.
But for Steve Beaton, the double trouble's at the wrong end of the leg. Thornton looking at double 4. Double 2. And that sends Leonard Gates through. Thornton up and running. The Americans guaranteed now to be in the semi-finals.
Second leg, Robert to throw
and Thornton
first.
himself 2 legs away from sending Steve Beaton packing.
Game on.
He was a 3-1 favourite before a dart was thrown Steve Beaton to win tonight. But so far, it just hasn't gone to plan for him.
Steve Beaton was a driving
61.
instructor before he became a professional dart player. So we know he's got the nerve for all this. If you can sit in that car with those learner drivers.
45.
And he will feel like at this present moment in time, he is in the passenger's seats in terms of qualifying through. That's
95.
how it looks. Thornton giving Gates the leg up in terms of qualifying through, and a win here would guarantee his progression
90.
at the expense of the Bronze Adonis. And basically, it's the same situation in the next game coming up, where any one leg for Neil Duff would send Andreas Harrysson through.
134.
Ted Evetts has to win, otherwise he is heading for home. But Beaton will give a post here in leg 2, playing with that beaming smile on his face. This is the
100.
part of his career that he's earned the right to enjoy. Yes, he's still going to be competitive. Yes, he still has that will to win. But he can now enjoy
41.
his darts after what has been such a
170.
long career at the top.
Yeah, he really can, Henry, and he deserves that as well. He really does deserve it. He's,
98.
like I say, been an outstanding player for so long. And some lesser likes would not
105.
come here and put themselves up to all this type of
72.
thing. But he still knows he's got the game and he still has the desire to do it.
Tots of Thornton, and that would have been for 2-0 lead.
Supercar 65.
Steve Beaton missed 8 darts at a double in his first match against Leonard Gates. He's already missed 2 darts at a double in this contest. And he's going to get one more in his hand. A double 12 to level up at 1 apiece and get the break back.
41. Car 40.
Double 10.
Getting shown the
2-0
second leg.
Thornton.
Robert Thornton.
Leg away. From going
Third
through
leg
and
Steve
sending
to throw
Beaton out.
first. Game on.
And once again, I think
No
it's
score.
been about what Beaton hasn't quite done on both of his games so far this evening. More than what he has. And
61.
he'll be disappointed with that.
120.
You get the feel that an early exit will be twinged with bitter disappointment for Steve.
85.
For many people on the outside, he'll be expected to win weeks and maybe win weeks regularly here at the Super Series.
100.
Remember, it was his decision to hand the card back. He didn't go out the 64. He physically gave the card in. He was still technically good enough at the end of last year to carry on if he wanted to.
180.
But Robert Thornton is seemingly too good here. His first max of the match. Applauded by this
59.
packed out crowd here in Portsmouth. We're based up on the balcony, and even that part of the auditorium is filled to the brim.
60.
Which is quite weird when you look outside our window because people are looking at us, Scott.
Yeah. Looking at you more
95.
strangely than
Robert
they are
Carr,
me. But
115.
yeah, absolutely. It is not a usual sight for us.
But this is a usual sight for Robert Thornton.
95.
Winning darts
Supercar
matches, but he hasn't quite won it right
127.
now. But if Beaton cannot take out the 127 in game, Thornton's going to come back for 3 more.
47. Robiuka 20.
Double 10. 2 5s. The defending champion is into the semi-finals. Robert Thornton brushes aside Steve Beaton. The Bonds Adonis eliminated at the group stage. A round of applause to the crowd. A lot of them came to see him this evening, and I know he'll be disappointed with the way it's ended. But for Robert Thornton, he goes through and he takes Leonard Gates with him. A 3-0 victory, the third consecutive 3-0 victory that we've seen at the beginning of the night session. Coming up after the break, where we've got pretty much the same scenario in Group 2. Ted Evetts has to win to stay in. Neil Duff with a solitary leg will send Andreas Harrysson through. And if he wins, he will be heading through alongside Andreas.
Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrysson. We're not going to need that. Bosch. 5 bases through.
Game, shot, and the match.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where it's been plain sailing so far at this Double Trouble 3 finale. All three winners this evening winning 3-0, and that means that Robert Thornton and Leonard Gates are already through to the semi-finals. Neil Duff will join them if he gets the better of Ted Evetts in the game that's about to take place on this stage, and Henry Deacon had a little chat with the former world champion earlier tonight.
Neil, is it fair to say this week has been a case of getting better as the days have gone along?
Yeah, it's been a case of Neil doing what Neil does down in Portsmouth. It just takes me then a couple of days to get ready, but yeah, always Group B or Group C, you'll always see the best of Neil Duff. So, yeah, I've done it again. I'm back in the Saturday night, so yeah, we'll see how it goes then.
What would be your assessment of Group A overall? Because when you consider the group and you consider the tight nature of it, someone was always going to have to finish bottom, and people don't usually finish on that on 10 points.
Monday, Tuesday, I kind of came away. I played well, but I didn't kill it off. Wednesday, I was disappointed because I had put myself in such great positions and then just let it slip. So overall, I should have got more out of Group A than I actually did. I was happy with how I was playing, but just giving chances and the calibre of players that was in the group. If you give chances, you're going to get punished for them, and I got punished.
It was great to see more about killer instinct and maybe having that bit more intensity, knowing that that was your last chance.
Yeah, but then you seen that intensity come out on me on Thursday. I come out and I was gritting my teeth, and I wanted to see them through, and for me it was like, yeah, make up for all the mistakes that I'd made Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've talked about it before. If I lose 2 matches on Monday, I go out to win them 2 matches back on the Tuesday. And yeah, that's just kind of the way I think about it in my head. So, yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday didn't work out for me, but Thursday, Friday, I played well. I deserved to be here and watch this space.
And finally, I know you take pride in everything that you do. You've won this once before. How much would you like to do it for a second time?
Just the fact to take the trophy back off Robert Thornton, who actually beat me that night. He won it,
yes.
actually. So he did. So, and he didn't beat me, he smashed me up. But yeah, when you win a certain trophy that you've won, you do want to get it back again. You kind of think you deserve it. But if I play the way I played on Thursday and Friday, take it out there tonight. I would like to be stand in the night, yeah.
Good luck. Wish you all the best. Go well, Neil.
Cheers, mate.
Slightly out of form and running into a very hot Neil Duff.
Mentioned this 1-2-6 earlier, has to start the 19s this time. Double six. Well, he saved his best shot right at the end in Neil Duff. Colin McGarry was superb in his demolition of Young Bram.
Yeah, that was
the first load.
Is he going to be the one? Will it be double delight for Duff at Double Trouble? Having won the first one, is he going to pick up the third as well? And, well, Scott Mitchell said at the start of the night, and Henry Deacon tended to agree, that it could be a really close-run thing this evening, but so far there has never been a more straightforward finals night, and that could continue here if Evetts has his evening ended early. The 27-year-old former world youth champion, he has to win to stay in. If Duff gets one leg, then that will send Andreas Harrysson through. If Neil wins this match, then he will go through along with the Swede. And so far, it's been whitewashers all round. Who would have thought it could be so simple? Henry Deacon and Scott Mitchell continue to guide you through the action.
Well, you may have heard the Duffs in that promo video regarding Neil Duff, but it hasn't really been any cliffhangers as of yet here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth on this Saturday night. And for Neil Duff, the task is quite simple. Wins here, and he is through with a game to spare. For Ted Evetts, the knockout darts has begun early on this Saturday night. He has to win this one, and then he has to hope that the final game in this group goes his way. He kicks off with Dart 2 in the first leg of this particular matchup against Neil Duff, for whom he wants his title back, Scott.
Yeah, he certainly does, and you have to feel for Ted Evetts as well, you know. He's had the second highest average of the evening, behind Andreas Harrysson, who beat him. So he's not, it's just, if he was a carpenter, you say his bubble was not reading plumb. He's there, and he's there in the window, but it's not quite gone his way up to now. And he has the darts in this one.
120.
And so he'll be looking to take advantage of that, I would think, because he knows how to do that. He's played many Pro Tours, many Challenge Tours, and he knows how to hold his own throw.
140.
Ted Evetts is a bona fide winner. He won 20 PDC titles in his career, including 14 Dev Tour titles. 2 wins on the Challenge Tour in 2018, and the big one, the World Youth Championship in 2021. There has been signs of emergence for Ted this year. Hit a 9 darter against Shane McGurk on the Challenge Tour back in January. 17th on that particular order of merit, which is just kind of below the cut line, isn't it, in terms of getting call-ups to Pro Tours, or he did play in one of them.
60.
PC1 lost out 6-5 to Johnny Clayton in Leicester as he looks at 144 and 6 darts from here to take out the opening leg. And he's going to need the full luxury that's been afforded to him.
76.
Duff will be looking for something big here.
145.
Pressure.
To the car 68.
This Evetts 68, and he has quite clearly done that with that 145. With using the 25, so 1 dart for Evetts.
36.
He can't get any closer.
36.
That's Ted's young lady here
shot
to support him in the crowd. And that leg from Neil Duff means
Second leg Neil to throw first. Game on.
that Harryson's through to the semi-finals.
So the Super Swede is going to get the
70.
opportunity to complete the set tonight. He's into the semi-finals. He's into the final 4. But who's going to join him? There is a divine irony, of course, that Neil Duff
51.
is the player that sent Andreas Harrysson through, but could still go out if Ted Evetts wins this game.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no surefire cert.
100.
That is not beyond the realms of possibility.
In terms of the stats for the week,
60.
Neil Duff actually came in with the lowest running average of the 6 players, 79.12, 37% though in terms of his finishing. That's been his key strength. Only Leonard Gates has been better in terms of killing off legs than the Duff man.
We know Neil Duff doesn't worry about all that jargon. He worries about winning matches.
180.
W's and L's is what he worries about, Henry.
First match of the match going the way of Ted Evetts, and it's giving him 6 darts against the throw to break back. And if he loses this leg, he really will see the trapdoor open up from behind him.
44.
And that is a big slip, because Duff now has got 6 on 176.
81.
He's himself on a 2 darter, but he would like to have left it a little bit more handy than 95.
Yeah, a bit of a stray one from Duff there, and that's what's left in that awkward 95. And depending on what Evetts does here,
134. The other car 95.
that's super stuff from Evetts. It will make the decision of what direction Duff goes, and he's gone this direction.
55.
The last start was misdirected.
Double 16 for Evetts to level up at 1 apiece.
Game shot on the second leg.
In it goes.
Ted Evetts.
He's given himself that lifeline.
Third
He went
leg
2-0 down.
first.
He would have been at the point of no return. But
Game
at
on.
least feel now that he's still in the contest.
65.
In terms
Thank
of
you.
Neil, he did have a tinker with another set, a straight barreled set at the beginning of the week. It was an experiment which came to an end very quickly. But then had to tinker back because there was a couple of occasions where he actually lost a point to the
100.
setup he's using now to the board. And there was perhaps an irony that both the occasions it happened was in games against Steve Beaton. Well, luckily for him,
83.
he can't play Steve Beaton at any point tonight for that to happen. The Bronze Adonis already being eliminated.
Yeah, interesting. But it happened in the same game on both occasions to the same player.
61.
That does tend to happen with your
43.
darts mechanics. If you do tinker with boards, you do stretch. You keep changing and changing. The dart point where it enters your dart is 2.3 millimeters in
140.
diameter. And obviously, if you don't pull the thing out straight, it can affect the barrel where
100.
the point
Technical
joins.
120.
So you have to be careful, making sure that you pull the point before out dead straight.
Well, Evetts here has got 6 darts and 120 to turn the tide in
60.
this match. Was 1-0 down, but now finds himself on the cusp of a 2-1 lead, which would give him the chance to at least try and
100.
salvage
Technical
something from his
60.
campaign, force it to go all the way, and then he'll hope that Andreas Harrysson does a favour for him. But here and now it's tops.
20.
The two opportunities have come and gone, and if Duff gets this, Evetts is in big trouble.
And he's got an opportunity. Single 10.
Game shot the third leg.
Well, there was a slight pause, but the execution of that 110 was perfect for Neil Duff.
Thank you.
2-1 to the good. He's got the break. And now Ted Evetts is at breaking point.
No score.
Just when Duff needed to get in with his first 3, he doesn't, and now he could hand the advantage of throw to Ted Evetts. Ted is in with his second dart.
60.
And nicely done. Not quite enough, because now Duff can come in with something big and take the throw back.
61.
It hasn't happened, so it's now the throw with Ted Evetts. It's his job to control it from here.
And you can only be human not to be crushed by a blow like that. You miss a couple of darts to get yourself in front, and then your opponent takes out a finish like that, and suddenly you're staring elimination in the face.
85.
Yeah, our good man, our good friend Chris Mason says it's a game of opportunity that will break your heart in two more often than it will stay whole and you win
60.
titles.
You sure you haven't confused Chris Mason for William Shakespeare?
Well, he might have been doing a bit of Shakespeare while he was on the running machine.
100.
Well, this is a pivotal exchange. Evetts needs to find something here. He
57.
doesn't. He's handed the ascendancy, he's handed the advantage, and he's handed his double trouble future really into the hands of Neil Duff.
Yeah, last thing he needed there was a non-treble visit, and unfortunately that's what he ended up with. Duff now leads
98.
another sensible one. It didn't come his way either, but he is left on a finish. That's a blocker dart for Ted Evetts. Now has to manoeuvre around the board
54. Near the car,
to make sure that he leaves himself a chance should it come to him.
Well, there is a feeling and a sense that
it might well be another night here of the Live Lounge that hasn't gone to plan for Ted Evetts. He's played some good stuff here, but it just seems to be a tournament where he just cannot find that breakthrough. And the only chance he may get tonight of ensuring that his fortunes here change is by taking out the big fish. Because if not, Duff is going to get a couple of darts for the match and for his place into the semi-finals. He said he wanted this title back. And he's been a couple of games of doing exactly that. Neil Duff is into the semi-finals, watched on by his partner Dominica, and he is hoping that this is going to be a Saturday night at which he can make cherished memories. When he's done the first step, and he's done the first step well. It was that 110 checkout, wasn't it, in the middle of the match, which really changed proceedings. Evetts had missed a couple of darts at tops, Duff sweeping in, and then taking the win, beating Ted Evetts by 3-1. Coming up after the break is Robert Thornton up against Leonard Gates. It's the final game from Group 1, and it is a case of the winner tops the group. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrysson. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrysson.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Lidlow!
Well, this is what happened before the break. Neil Duff taking out this 60 and the double top sandwich between those two darts. And that was a dart that not just sealed Neil Duff's place in the semi-finals, but actually set up our final four here at the Super Series Double Trouble 3, and the two former champions are still standing. Robert Thornton and Neil Duff, of course, have both won a Double Trouble week before. They're still in action this evening. Thornton about to take on Leonard Gates for the right to top Group 1. Then Neil Duff will take on Andreas Harrysson for the right to top Group 2. Is it possible, Scott Mitchell, who's alongside me now, that we could see that as the final and it's going to be kind of a champion of champions?
It could well be, but I mean, we could also see it as a semi-final as well if one wins and one loses. So, yeah, we probably got the right four players through the way they've played so far this evening. I don't think we can argue with that. The two that have gone probably, we can say, didn't quite get going this evening, although Ted Evetts played really well in his first game. He was just a little bit unfortunate that he played Harrysson in the form that he was in. And he had a similar thing happen to him there, the 110 from Duff in the middle of the game after he missed 2 darts at tops. It's just, it really is a kick in the guts. It does hurt up there on that stage. So he's a little unfortunate. He hasn't played bad enough to go the way that he's gone for me.
What could Ted have done better tonight?
It's just a couple of moments. We know that the game is made of moments and it's taken those moments at the right time. And they just didn't come his way. How do you hit that tops? Not allowed Duff to have the 110 and get his tail up and into the wind, and that's what he did. So games can change on such fine margins, and they were there. It wasn't as if he wasn't getting darts at a double, and he'd be even more disappointed if he wasn't getting darts at a double. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword for Ted.
Right, don't make me look stupid with the obvious answer to this, but what went wrong for Steve Beaton tonight?
I think he was a little bit slow out the traps. Maybe a little tired. We said playing 6 days on the trot is not something he's done for an awful long time. So, you know, maybe it was that. Maybe that was in his head before he started. But I think you can see he's always a happy lad. You know, he loves playing darts. He's at an age now where he needs to be enjoying his darts. And even though he's lost a couple of matches here this evening, he still walked off the stage with a smile on his face. Probably relief because he didn't want to throw another dart and he wants to go home.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have left many stages having not won a single leg, Steve Beaton. But he will be back. Hasn't played in the normal Super Series yet, so I'm sure we will see him as part of this series. But the players in action tonight, let's focus on the next match, actually. Leonard Gates against Robert Thornton. Whoever wins the group and keeps that sort of shield of invincibility going to the semi-finals.
They do indeed, but both know that they stand in each other's way of lifting that title. It's a case of who were you targeting on Monday morning? Who was going to be your biggest problem on Monday morning? And I'm sure that both players, Thornton and Gates, would have had each other in that little basket going, I need to make sure I beat them towards the end of the week. Well, now Leonard and Robert have both got their chance to beat each other. So I think, Leonard looked a little bit reassured in his first game, but what you have to remember is when you win that Group A, it's a long wait from Game 1 to Game 5. And you could be out there on that practice board throwing 180 after 180. Sometimes that doesn't help you. But the fact that he knew that he was virtually through after that first game will relax him. I don't think Leonard will mind whether he wins this game. I don't know. I think he knows that he's got the darts. Has he got the darts? No, he hasn't got the darts. Thornton's got the darts.
He probably thinks he's got the darts.
He probably will, yeah, same as I did. I was just trying to think. You know, so you would say that in a normal match, the advantage would be with Thornton, but we know that double trouble and double in, there's no advantage. If you don't get in, you hand the ascendancy straight over to your opposition.
Yeah, it certainly is the ultimate leveller. Both players making a perfect start this evening then, but something has got to give. Will it be Thornton or Gates who wins the group? And earlier tonight, before the action got underway, Henry Deacon spoke to Leonard Gates.
Leonard, another good week here for yourself at the Super Series, and Group A was very, very kind to yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very kind. Plus, after playing a week here, then coming to play again, so pretty much got comfortable and used to the environment.
Did last week come as a benefit then? Because sometimes players say actually playing the 2 weeks, the tiredness, fatigue could kick in. But for you, did it actually have an opposite effect?
No, I like playing back-to-back days, back-to-back weeks like that. I mean, because that's what I do. You know, I go and I play and just factor in the stamina and just keep it going.
How important has strategy been for yourself this week? Because we saw after a couple of games you switched to the double 14s. That worked, and maybe when that didn't quite work, you're looking at other targets. How important was that to your success in Group A?
It's very important because I think it keeps my mind clear of just focusing on one double and then thinking about setting myself out to take that double out of this and that. Just giving myself a variety of segments on the board to look at and to hit.
In terms of tonight, you've always said that you love it when you're playing the top players, the elite players.
Yeah.
So how much must you be relishing this task?
I saw the bracket come out and I was like, okay, so the only person we're missing tonight is Simon Whitlock. But I mean, it's going to be great, man. I mean, these guys deserve to be here, and that's what we fought all week to do, get here to tonight.
You've lost a couple of finals in the main Super Series, Owen Bates, Chaz Barza. How much would you like to get one, even if it is in a specials week, to lift that double trouble crown? It's going to be the only one we're going to play for this year too.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the third double troubles week. I like to win. I like to win this third one. Yeah, you know, it's very important.
Well, we wish you all the very best, Leonard. Good luck.
Well, I'm sure he feels pretty good at the moment, Leonard Gates, after that brilliant 3-0 victory over Steve Beaton. That enough to qualify him ahead of this match against Robert Thornton, of course, who got the same result, the bronze Adonis, getting the bronze medal in Group 1. This will determine who gets the gold medal and wins the group. Will it be the American soldier who marches through as the group winner, or can the double start specialist Robert Thornton win the group and go into the semi-finals with a perfect record? We'll find out in the company of Scott Mitchell and Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, these two are safe in the serenity of a semi-finals passage, regardless of what happens in this contest. But the winner of this game will have the advantage of throw in the first Final Four game that we'll have this evening. For Robert Thornton, defending his double trouble title, the man he beat in the final last time out has already departed us. These two made pay for Steve Beaton. 3-0 victories apiece against the bronzed Adonis. The atmosphere has cranked up another notch, as if
120.
We needed the decibel level to go up any further. A highly anticipated night. Now, this is kind of that middle portion of the session now where players are just jostling for where they get to in the Final Four, and then the serious business can begin again. But what you don't want to do is just lose concentration for 5 minutes, and then the confidence you would have got of qualifying may just begin to become a little bit of lingering doubt.
That's exactly the way it is, and it's... Nobody will want to be losing at this stage, because they could end up playing each other again in the semi-finals or final after this. So it's an opportunity to get one over on your opponent here, just in case you have to play them at a later date. And I believe that Robert Thornton is 2-1 up this week from Group A.
61
on Leonard Gates.
Which is a strange quandary when you think how comprehensive Leonard Gates won the group by in the end, but he did get off to a slow start, did
65.
The American. He lost his first 2 matches on Monday and then put together a 6-match burst, a 6-match winning streak in the middle of the group, which set in motion the events that were to follow. But he's a long way back in this leg. Thornton 6 starts at 130, and that's why he's looking down at treble 10 with dart 2, having found the treble with dart 1. He's going to leave himself tops upon his return for a comfortable passage through leg 1.
100. Romuka 40.
Double 10. Well, he's hardly broken sweat, has he, in this first leg? Thornton up and running, capitalising on a slow start from his opponent.
Game on.
And you have to say that Robert did play the better with the pair in their opening game. Averaged 5 points higher, despite missing more darts. That's a double to finish off legs.
65.
Yeah, Gates in first start straight away, but this is now the business end of double trouble. This is what you've got to do. You've got to be going in with that ton plus every time now,
Well, Robert Thornton on Tuesday got away in his first visit in every
58.
single one of the 20 legs he played. And of those 20 legs that he got away in his first visit, he got away 12 times with his first dart.
98.
And you don't know it as a stat as a player, but you know that you're getting in very quickly and very easily.
140.
So it takes the apprehension of all of that out of the equation. Lots of players will go into this double trouble type stuff, go,
60.
oh, I've got to get in, I've got to get in. And ultimately, you don't get in with the first 3 darts because you're telling yourself you have to.
$100.
Leonard taking his time to settle here.
108. From the car, 138.
Well, that Max of Thornton has piled the pressure on this 138. It has to go, simple as that. And the fact it won't means that Thornton will come back for a
60.
2-0 lead. And it would
Romeo
mean
Carr,
that
43.
he would have played 5 legs and not dropped 1 so far.
Three. Vanadioka,
He's the
78.
first player that's hit a 180 that isn't going home yet this evening.
Tops the level up. Thornton shakes his head. He knows he's missed a
58.
big opportunity,
Romeo
but he
Carr,
has been
40.
given a reprieve from the American.
Gifted a reprieve.
Inch on the second leg. Robert
And
Thornton.
he's not going to look the gift horse in the mouth.
Third leg, Robert to throw first. Game
He
on.
looks really focused here, does Robert Thornton. He was talking earlier on in the week that he feels like he's found that fire in the belly again. And that he feels that
120.
there's still more out there, that he doesn't just want to drift away. He still thinks there's something tangible out there for him in
60.
the sport. What it is, he doesn't know. But he still feels like there's one more defining day for him.
Yeah, I have to say, when you don't
100.
feel like that, it's time to hang them up. That's for sure. And I don't think that there's not one more day for him either. Do you, the way that he's playing?
45.
Because I certainly do.
And the one thing we know about Robert Thornton is even when he's not his best, he's got this tenacity and this will to win that no matter what scenario he's in, he can find a way. And he is more than finding a way here. He broke the record average for a double-in, double-out match early on this week when he averaged 108. He's averaging in excess of a ton here. And if he takes this out in 3, he'll have another ton plus average. Double 12. What a performance from Robert Thornton. The defending champion has sent out a statement of intent. A 3-0 victory with an average of 100.2, and in 45 darts he has swept aside Leonard Gates. What a performance that was. Leonard Gates did not get a look in that game. 3-0 Thornton. He is comprehensively through, and he's going to throw first in the first semi-final. He wins Group 1. Coming up after the break is Neil Duff up against Andreas Harrysson.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we have our 4 semi-finalists. Andreas Harrysson, the Super Swede, is one of them. He's been successful here at the Live Lounge before, and we got to know him a little better earlier this week. Here's some quick-fire questions with Andreas and Henry Deacon.
So, Andreas, how long have you been playing darts for?
31 years, I think, since '94.
What got you into playing darts? When did you first pick up a set?
Yeah, friends were playing, and I just go with friends and try it, and got stuck directly.
What's your biggest achievement in darts? What's your greatest ever trophy you've won?
Should say Modus, Champions Week, and maybe the World Cup, European Cup, the gold medal for Sweden.
Do you remember the 1-2-1 checkout against Cam Crabtree?
How can I forget? It was great.
The bullseye. Did you know that was going in?
No, I just hoped it wouldn't get in. So,
what's the one thing you've done in darts that you haven't done and you'd love to achieve?
Yeah, play on get the tour card and try that one. Play the best every week.
He just oozes charisma, doesn't he? And I quite like Andreas as well. He's about to take on Neil Duff in the final group game of tonight. The winner of this will win Group 2. And Neil Duff, well, if he does that, he'll avoid Robert Thornton, and we could have that clash of champions in the final this evening. Andreas Harrysson, as mentioned in that chat with Henry there, the winner of Series 7, the greatest finals night to date in many people's minds, certainly in his, but is he going to win a different kind of week this time around? Double trouble, the semi-finals await for both players, but who will win the group? We'll find out. Scott and Henry will talk you through it.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So the final game of the groups, we know that Robert Thornton's won Group 1. Leonard Gates is runner-up in that group. We know Andreas Harrysson and Neil Duff are both into the semi-finals, but we don't know in what position. And so this game will separate that all out. Effectively, this is a seeding match between these two. The winner will take on Leonard Gates in the semi-finals. The loser will take on Robert Thornton. And Neil Duff, in his pre-match interview this evening, actually eyed up Robert Thornton, saying that he wants to take the title off of him and take it back for himself.
First leg, Neil to through first.
Duff man
Game
engaging
on,
with the crowd. He did have to pause a little bit before taking out that 110 finish, which was the turning point in his game against Ted Evetts. But he's somebody who's played in all the big arenas. He's somebody that
80.
will know that those types of things happen and will move on as a result of as we move on in this contest.
Yeah, I think it was the other way round with Neil Duff there. I think the crowd were then engaging with him on that occasion when he had to stop and slow down on the 110. But we're now starting to come to the party, aren't we? We're starting to see the 180s flowing. Duff's the first one of the evening.
57. $100.
The other thing is, whoever wins this one also will have the darts in their semi-final. Thornton has had an emphatic 3-0 win in our last match, if you missed it. 100.2 average and a demolition job. 3-0 of Leonard Gates, but all is not lost for Leonard
89.
Gates. He takes his place in semi-final number 2, but he won't have the darts.
It's kind of a case of pick your fighter, isn't it, between Thornton and Gates? They're two players that you'd want to avoid, but it's a night of players that you want to avoid because of the sheer calibre of everybody. Duff looking at tops to take out the opening leg.
12.
He's missed a couple, but he's got time on his side because Andreas hasn't really got out the traps in this match.
$140. New car 40.
Is that the bit that lights the blue touch paper for Harrysson? Super dart there from Duff to use. Got to hit that first one.
Neil Duff.
Didn't quite, dropped under it, but it was still in the double, so
second leg Andreas
a more than handy marker.
Duff one up.
60.
An off is an off in this situation. Duff would like one now.
40.
Gets it with his last.
Speaking to Andreas earlier on this week, he was asked about his aspirations for the year ahead, and it was all
85.
about qualifying for the Ali Pali and getting to the PDC World Championships for the first time in his career. He's played at the Lakeside, he's played at the Indigo at the BDO World Championships in the past. But the Ali Pali is that one venue which has just passed him by.
26.
But the Nordic and Baltic Tour isn't a place where he has the same type of success, though, that he has here. But he'd be the player if he could get to the World Championship. Could cause problems, but Neil Duff is causing this Swede all sorts of problems here. Second max of the match.
$140. 100. $145. Neil, look at 81.
145 for Andreas. Piles the pressure on this 81 for the break. And it may just be a dart at the bull.
56.
Just above.
Andreas,
Harrysson has a chance to
45.
equalise here.
$6. Neil, look at 25.
He can't believe that happened to Andreas. He went for the right-hand corner of the double top because the left-hand corner was blocked. Took the beans off and it went in a
17.
one. And now he's got to come back and burn another dart to leave himself a double. Which way is he going? 7 for double 16.
Game show on the second
Right
leg.
choice, Andreas.
Level at one apiece. These
Double
two
Neil
actually
to
do
the
have
first.
history
Game on.
in this competition. They met in the semi-finals at Double Trouble 2. Sorry, met in the pool stage, shall I say, at Double
60.
Trouble 2. Lost out to Neil there, did Andreas.
$100.
Both players off and running once again in the first visit of this contest. Both players getting off dart 2 of the leg.
59.
Andreas would get through to the semi-finals despite that defeat.
$41.
As for Neil Duff, playing at the World Seniors Championship, and actually a little bit of an emotional affair for him, was due to play Vincent van der Voort before he pulled out the
100.
competition. Actually would have been the first time that his dad would have seen him play on stage in person, but was only going to be there for that one game, and because Vincent pulled out, Neil got the walkover to the next round, so had to fly back. Before he's lost to Graham Usher by 3-1. He will be playing next week. Another appearance for him at the Super Series, playing week 7 of Series
36.
10, and he'll be looking to equalise Steve West's 5 weekly title record in this building. You will be able to, before too long, hear an exclusive interview with Neil Duff touching on that and other subjects when the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk is released here on Pluto
96.
TV.
Andreas Ruka, 85.
Yeah, good little series, good little insights into varying players, that.
Double 10.
Harrisson's
Harrisson's turned the screw here. Neil Duff looked really good, didn't he, in the early exchanges of this match.
First. Game on.
But Harrysson has turned this match on its head. Duff 1 from 8 on a finishing double. Harrysson 2 from 5. And he has the throw here to complete a 3-1 victory.
120. No score.
Big moments in this match here. Can Harrysson get himself away from
41.
Duff? And the answer is no.
As silly as it sounds,
41.
This is actually the most likely night that a brush could happen, because if somebody has a disaster of a leg, you think it's more likely that the caliber opponent would take full advantage of that.
140.
Yeah, agreed. Harrysson here, really starting to turn the thumb screws on
100.
Neil Duff and give him a little pain, but all is not lost for Duff.
100.
Should Harrysson convert this leg, he finds himself
100.
Semi-final number 1.
100.
Playing his old adversary, Robert Thornton.
Tops for the match. Top to the win. Andreas Harrysson goes through the groups with an unblemished record. He beats Neil Duff by 3 legs to 1. It means the 2 former champions will meet in the first semi-final. Andreas Harrysson will take on Leonard Gates in semi-final number 2. That's the tail of the tape from our final pool match of the evening. Andreas Harrysson winning by 3 legs to 1. And so that sets up the 2 semi-finals. It'll kick off with a meeting between Thornton and Duff before Andreas Harrysson takes on Leonard Gates in semi-final number 2. We're going to take a short break. When we return, there's going to be reaction and analysis in the studio with Scott Mitchell and Chris Murphy before we get the semi-finals underway.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series on Double Trouble 3's finals night. Here's what's happened in the group stages then. Leonard Gates and Robert Thornton both getting 3-0 wins against Steve Beaton in Group 1. And then Andreas Harrysson and Neil Duff making it through Group 2. So Duff and Thornton are going to face off in the semis. One of the former winners will be in the final. And then Andreas Harrysson will take on Leonard Gates in the second semi-final. Scott Mitchell's joined me on the stage here at the Live Lounge. Let's talk about Robert Thornton first. Hasn't dropped a leg yet so far tonight.
No, he played so well in that last game of his. He's really sort of put down the gauntlet, hasn't he? He's saying to the guys, this is what I'm going to do from now on in. He was getting in superbly first dart, second dart, and he just looked invincible. And you look at that and think, if he can produce that twice more, and everybody else is in trouble.
What is it about this format that seems to bring out the best in Robert Thornton? I think it wouldn't be a surprise if you looked at his averages from last time he was here in a straight start and compared them to the double start, and they'd be higher this time around.
I couldn't agree more. I think the thing with Robert is, I said it in commentary earlier, he's very comfortable with that double start. He knows that he can hit a double to get in. And if you do it, it's like last time he was here, it's like he didn't miss with 3 darts in his hand to get in. So when you start having that confidence, that's not a problem. That's not an issue for you. Whereas for most players, you come up here, put your foot to the hock in, start praying that the first dart's going to go in. And when it doesn't, you have to start moving. He doesn't have that problem. He has the confidence that he's going to hit that double in the 3 darts in his hand. So he doesn't panic with dart 2 and 3. And it's a very different scenario, and it's working for him.
He's done everything in double start darts as well, hasn't he? Won the World Grand Prix. He's hit a 9-darter, of course, as well, the 161. Won here. Is he going to be the first to do the double?
So how can he not be confident at double start? We're just trying to find excuses here. There aren't any. There just aren't any.
Leonard Gates, the other player to come through that group, won 1 match 3-0, lost 1 match 3-0. But you kind of said it before, didn't you, that Leonard probably wouldn't be too bothered about that second game?
No, I mean, I think Robert was already 2-1 up on him in the week anyway. It would have been nice not to have lost to him going into the semi-finals, have a bit of momentum to go with it. But again, Leonard's not that type of player. He's 1 game at a time. Yeah, he's lost his last one. He's one of those that his probability thinks he'll probably win the next one.
Yeah, and if he meets Thornton in the final, that won't affect him at all, will it, that defeat?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that he is a very focused individual, although he does take his time when he's up here, and he started making his mind up of where he's going on shots before he throws, whereas in the past he's thrown a dart and then stood there scratching his head. His game is evolving to the steel tip dart, there's no two ways about it, but he won't be too bothered. He'll just see another opponent in front of him and he'll keep it simple.
The player we lost from that group was Steve Beaton. How much would it hurt him to have lost not only both of his matches, but every leg he played tonight?
We saw him say in his interview this evening that it's all about tonight. You know, what's gone before has gone before. It's all about how you perform tonight. And he was saying that himself, so maybe he put a little bit more pressure on himself about tonight. I don't think lots went wrong. I think lots went right for his opponents against him.
Neil Duff, though, he is safely through. They're going to play in the semis, him and Robert Thornton, so one of the previous winners will be in the final. But it's Thornton who's got that invincibility around him this evening. Duff winning 1 game 3-1, losing 1 game 3-1. Where would his mind be at right now?
Probably the match that neither would have wanted. They know their credentials here within this double start. So probably they would have rather one of the other opposition. But this is the way that it's sorted itself out. We said that we're going to see which one makes the final. We're going to see now because they're both in the semi-final. So somebody's going to give themselves the opportunity to win it for the second time.
Nobody's won more than Neil Duff here at the Super Series. He's got that knack, hasn't he, of growing into a week, and we've seen that again this week with him.
Yeah, we've tried to explain to him. I've asked him, and he's tried to explain to me that it's very difficult to come over with the travel that he does now. He's not just over the road now. He's now travelling for Switzerland to get here. So I think that affects him early part of the week. But because he's in the week, he grows into the week. A lot of players do that when they come here. Not quite so good on Monday, but they're always in with a shout by Saturday. And it's just match practice, and at the standard that we're playing here, that's what benefits him, I think.
He's just been beaten by Andreas Harrysson. He's super solid, isn't he, the Swede? He really has got what it takes to go and win tonight. What have you made of him?
Well, he's another one that's got an absolute love affair with this place. He loves this stage. He has many happy memories. You'll find players have that with varying venues, and I have with venues that you win at in the past. You go back there going, you know, you feel good about it and feel you can win again. Andreas has it about here. So he's already feeling tonight. He doesn't take, look, you can see he's a very simple man. He just keeps one game at a time. He won't be saying, he's not the sort that'll go out the back and say, I'm winning this tonight. He's the one that'll go, well, if I play well and I get my game up there, I'm going to make myself difficult to beat. And that's what he's been doing all evening so far.
Right, I'm going to get your thoughts on the semi-finals in just a moment. But first of all, let's show you what's coming up next week here at the Modus Super Series. We're going to return to the main series. So week 7 getting underway. Anthony Allen, John Worsley, Neil Duff returning for his main series week. Andrew McDermott, Kevin Edwards, Rick Hessing in Group A. Conan Whitehead, former champion in Group B. But interesting name at the bottom of Group C there, Scott. Charlie Manby, who had that record-breaking performance on the development tour recently. It's one that leaps out. Who else stands out for you?
Well, I'm a Dorset boy, and we've got a Dorset boy in next week in Andrew McDermott. Nobody will know a great deal about him. He's playing super well around the area that he lives. It's now, can he come out of that area and start bringing what we know that he's got here to the cameras for other people to see?
We mentioned Neil Duff coming back as well. We said that he's a player that it takes a little bit of time to get going. Will it actually have helped him to have this run-up to get back through next week to the finals night again?
See, I'm getting an old boy, and I think to play the 6 days and then get 1 day off and may have a possibility of playing another 6 days. He's a fit lad, is Neil Duff. He's a little bit fitter and leaner than I am. But I think it could take its toll. You've got to be careful playing that many days in a row. Time will tell, but I'll tell you what, he won't start as slow on Monday as he did this Monday.
Quick word as well on Derek Coulson, because he's a player who's having his best time in darts in his senior years. Reached the semis at the World Seniors recently.
I rate him very highly indeed. I've been on the board with Derek. I've played Derek. There's nothing really that gets to Derek. Only Derek gets to Derek when it's not going right. He's really impressed. Like you say, he's in the latter years of a dart playing life, and he's playing the best darts of his life. He's another one that really enjoys playing here. I've spoken to him about it, how much he feels part of the furniture here. He surprises himself every time he comes here. He doesn't set goals, so that then makes him a very difficult and cagey character to try and play.
And it's the senior stars that are doing it here at Double Trouble as well, isn't it? We'll have a look at the semi-final lineup again. Robert Thornton is going to take on Neil Duff in the first. Leonard Gates, of course, has won multiple seniors titles, taking on Andreas Harrysson, who is now eligible for the seniors after that little change. But it shows that the old boys, in the age of the Charlie Manbys and the Luke Littlers, the old boys have still got it, Scott.
Oh, so you're just letting me know that he's eligible now. You're cheering me up some more, are you, Chris? Thanks for that. Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I think you're absolutely right. We've seen Kirsty. She's 52 years old in the women's series today, winning. It isn't always all about the youngsters, and for me, I'm team old boy. So yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, Thornton and Duff, then they've both won this title before. I think both would have come here with the determination to be the first to win it twice. Who are you giving the edge to in that first semi?
Off the back of Robert's performance in his last game, I'm going to go Robert, because he has the darts also, and he's been getting in with those 3 darts in hand. That's going to make him very difficult to beat. If he does make a mistake and he doesn't get in, Duff has got to jump all over that to give himself a chance.
Yeah, you can see there how much it meant to him as well when he lifted the trophy the first time around in Double Trouble. And he's kind of seems to have really enjoyed it this week. He's elevated his game to a level that didn't seem to be there for the last 6 months or so.
No, but it's funny what makes things happen. You know, you can gain form very quickly with a few good sort of runs in and playing well in your own mind. When you're not playing well in your own mind, you can drag yourself into the mire and you can be in that doldrum for a while. When you start to lift and come out of it, you start to believe. And when you believe, you're confident. When you're confident, you play well.
A quick word on the second semi as well. Andreas Harrysson against Leonard Gates. Where will that one be won and lost?
I think Andreas looks good. Leonard's going to be a bit low after that defeat. But I think that Andreas is now starting to find his feet here. You know, it was a slow start for him earlier in his first game. He'll be pleased with that second game. That's a big scalp for him to have, because he still sees himself as not that top player. I think, again, because he's got the darts, it's such a short format, I think Andrus is going to be difficult to beat.
Shall I tell you a little secret, actually? Because I think Leonard Gates might be quite high after that defeat, because I was walking backstage after he lost. He was putting his coat on. He thought he'd been knocked out. He thought he was straight knockout darts. And I had to tell him to turn around and say, Leonard, you've got a semi-final to play. So maybe his mood might have changed a little bit.
Well, maybe he's thinking he's on last chance corral and he's had a second win and a second bite of the cherry. Who knows? We could be talking to him on the stage after the final.
Certainly could be right. We better get off the stage because they want to get on it. It is time for the semi-finals to get underway. A clash of the former champions coming up after this very short break.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie McGuire, 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score, leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
McGuire,
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts, but he'll be coming back.
The moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
McGuire,
hockey with
20.
a chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Gage wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
McGuire,
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia McGuire, 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy. Couldn't get the job done.
And the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
This was a comprehensive 3-0 win. Double 8
Game shot
for
on the
perfect
match,
start. So 74 for the match to round off another incredible display. Double top.
Game shot on the match.
Tops for a 3rd win for Steve Beaton. 20 and the bull. Bullseye. The steely-eyed
Game shot on the
focus is open for interpretation. His double top. Double 8 on an 11 darter. Oh, yes!
Andreas Harrysson. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Modus Live Lounge down here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series Double Trouble 3 Finals Night live on Pluto TV. We now get round to our semi-final stages. First of all, please welcome to the stage Sir Thornton, Robert Thornton!
Let's get it. Green light, let's get it. Green light, let's get it. I'm the future, I'm in it. Check score, I'm winning. Green light, let's get it. I just win. Win, 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 win. I'm on 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. Hello, I'm Timothy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second semi-finalist and Robert's opponent, please welcome to the stage, it's the Duff Man, Neil Duff!
Well, Neil Duff taking the applause of the audience here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The crowd are up for this one, and both the players will be up for it as well. We've got a clash of former champions in the semi-finals. One of them is going to make it through to the final and have the chance to be the first to do the double trouble double. Will it be the Thorn, the former World Grand Prix champion, the winner of Double Trouble 2 here at the Live Lounge? Or can Duff be a thorn in his side? The Northern Irishman, of course, former world champion, winner of the very first Double Trouble here at the Super Series. And it's Double Trouble in the commentary box as well, with Scott Mitchell alongside Henry Deacon.
Thank you, Chris. Now this is proper, isn't it? Two proper players, a proper crowd, and a proper title up for grabs. These two have won this trophy before. They're looking to do so for a second time, and one will get the opportunity to do so. The atmosphere here has reached fever pitch levels in the Live Lounge. Me and Scott were actually saying in the commentary box during the walk-on, it felt Circus Tavern-like, it felt Lakeside-like on some of those classic nights. It's best of order now, but you've been in those arenas and played on the big stages when it is filled to the brim. And during the walk-ons, you probably can't hear yourself think, and both players probably couldn't hear themselves think.
No, you can't, and I'd say if Robert Thornton didn't get in with his first darts, Neil Duff was going to have to jump on that, and he's done exactly that with that first visit of 160.
97.
Thornton misses, Duff goes in, and what you have to remember about champions, they've tried and failed more times than beginners have even tried. And you've got two champions here that have experienced both. And one of them is going to have to experience it again in 10 minutes' time.
Now these are two players that will relish this type of atmosphere. Will relish being in the bear pit. Will relish being cheered and maybe sometimes jeered. And it is Neil Duff with first opportunity against the throw, but straying into the 5 means the opportunity's off now. He's going to leave himself
72.
handily poised on double 16 if Thornton cannot take out the 160.
Yeah, we're getting the very best of order from the crowd now. That's exactly what we want.
Getting shown the first leg.
What a start, 13 darter.
Second leg, Neil through first. Game on.
Well, for Neil Duff, it started out with a kiss, and he'll be hoping it'll end with victory. Now, they're chanting his name, but when it gets to game on, it is best of order, and he just hangs about for a couple of seconds to ensure that
100.
He gets that. Perhaps more importantly, sets a tone so his opponent can have that too.
$60. 60.
Duff was definitely bouncing off the reaction of the crowd in that first leg, wasn't he? Thornton struggling to find his range. He had that 100.2.
100.
The Leonard Gates, fifth game this evening, and one in the 100 averages at the moment is Neil Duff.
He has this ability, doesn't he, to really switch it on when it matters. And it was Robert Thornton, the man,
81.
at the beginning of the night that he eyed out. He's got the title he wants, and so he would take extra pride in being the man to dethrone him.
81. Neil the car 160.
Yeah, of course, and the pair of them get on very well anyway. Sat together in the back room next to one another in the players' practice room.
85.
Not really been too much Robert Thornton could have done about this Neil Duff performance so far.
75.
He's just leaving himself in and around the periphery in both the legs that's been played so far. And this is what the best of 5 format does. Because in the space of 3.5 minutes, Neil Duff is a leg away from the final. He has dominated this match and he's on the cusp of decimating Robert Thornton. And this packed out crowd know the man they want to see win, and they are trying to egg their man on.
See, that's bad when that last chant came out there while Robert was trying to throw. That is exactly what we're trying to cut out of all parts of the game.
There has been a discussion across all facets of the game. It was a discussion at the recent World Championships in terms of crowd behaviour at times. And I think it's a sport-wide issue. We saw some incidents at the Crucible Theatre at the World Snooker Championship last year as well. But both players just get up and get on with the task. That's the professionals that they are. Thornton trying not to be deterred. And sometimes we do see something like it's the player that actually trying to support is the one that gets better affected, because they don't want to feel like they're giving their opponent a sporting disadvantage, even though they can't control the situation.
No, you're absolutely spot on, Henry. That does happen, and
100.
makes it turns it into an awkward game, and particularly where Neil Duff's been 2-0 up. Does it spur on your opponent?
127.
Robert Thornton falls into that category of player that when he's in the mood and he's just a little bit angry, then he can be a dangerous player to play against. He's mentioned the fire in the belly, and when he gets going, he is so tough to stop. Thornton 54 to bring it back to 2-1. He's missed the big number. He's going to have to spurn one. Double 17. And it may be the only dart he gets at a double in the match.
37.
Because Duff is back for 81 to sweep him aside. The title defence could be coming close to a close. Because Neil Duff is going to have a dart at the bullseye.
56.
To have won the match, it's come and gone.
Getting shown the third leg.
Credit to Robert Thornton. He knew he had to take that double 4. He duly obliged.
Neil to throw first.
But this is the leg for Neil Duff. This is the leg he has the darts in.
Come on, thank you.
Yeah, if we've got an individual here that keeps shouting out while players are around to throw, we've got to find them.
100. No score.
It goes back to that one voice theory again, doesn't it? But both players are getting on with it.
$100.
And they have travelled far and wide to be here this evening. I see a couple of people with Leeds United banners.
55.
Their team are playing Portsmouth in the early kickoff at Fratton Park tomorrow, so making a double sporting trip of it.
100.
But Neil Duff now standing on the edge of another double trouble final. 201 points away from getting back to the big match.
Yeah, it's definitely advantage Duff here, and certainly advantage Duff now.
127.
Well, the big promo at the beginning of the night involved these two players. The two former champions could one retain or one reclaim.
74.
It looks like Robert Thornton's title defence is about to come to an end, because the double trouble one champion, Neil Duff, is into the final, and he has an opportunity to reclaim the title he lost to the man he's just beat there in September. He takes the acclaim of the crowd. He was their favourite right from the very first start, and he'll be hoping to be thrown the very last dart of the night. This is how he did it. Really good performance. 98.95 the average. His scoring power was such a key strength. He just shut Robert Thornton out of that match. And then 3 from 4 in terms of closing out legs. Neil Duff is into the final, a double trouble 3. Coming up after the break, it is Andreas Harrysson up against Leonard Gates.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series on this double trouble week. Scott Mitchell alongside me has been watching the action, and here is what has happened so far tonight. The first group, well, it was 3-0 all the way through. Leonard Gates beating Steve Beaton with a whitewash win. Robert Thornton doing the same, and then doing the same to Leonard Gates. Thornton, though, is now out. He was beaten by Neil Duff, who got through Group 2 with Andreas Harrysson. And Neil Duff did it in some style, Scott. A great performance and a great way to wrap up the victory.
Yeah, I said when we were chatting on stage before the semi-final, if Neil Duff had a chance, he had to jump on top of Robert when he made a mistake with getting in. And he did that from the get-go. Robert didn't get in with 3 darts. Duff goes in with 160, commands the leg. All the momentum's then with him. Then shoots a 75 to go 2-0, and then Robert really is chasing, and he's sort of looking at the exit door, isn't he, at 2-0 with only being best of 5, and he got one back there, but Duff took advantage of having the throw and went in first dart again and controlled the last leg.
Yeah, the audience here at the Super Series seem to enjoy that victory as well. They've been kind of captivated by this format tonight.
Captivated by the format, well into it this evening. I think it comes through over the TV. I think, yeah, you know, there's been 1 or 2 shouts there that we don't want to hear, but in general, they've been, you know, right behind all the players.
Yeah, next one, Harrysson against Gates. I don't expect that anyone's travelled from Sweden, certainly not from the USA, to support either of these players, but the two kind of iconic figures in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely they are. And like you said earlier, you know, they're very different style players to anything that we kind of have in the UK. They play very, very differently. Leonard is very randomly on. I don't think anybody plays like Leonard. It's just Leonard. But I tipped Robert Thornton because he had the darts, and I think I would do the same again on this one with Andreas. If he gets in, he's got to get in when you've got the darts. If you don't, Leonard will be all over him, and we already think that, you know, Leonard thought he had the exit door already this evening, so he's his coach ready to go, but I don't think Leonard's quite ready yet. I think he's going to feel this is a second chance.
Right, who will take on Neil Duff in tonight's final? Leonard Gates and Andreas Harrysson are about to do battle in the second semi-final.
The bullseye for Andreas. Didn't even contemplate the treble. No mistake.
Andreas Harrysson.
Tops for the match. Tops for the win.
Andreas Harrysson.
Completes a 3-0 win. 2 darts in his hand at double 16 and now double 8. Completes the job.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Modus Live Lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series Double Trouble 3 Finals Night, live on Pluto TV. We now get round to our second semi-final of the evening. Please welcome to the stage from Sweden, it's Dirty Harrysson, Andreas Harrysson! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Our second semi-final and our second player for the evening. Please put your hands together and welcome from the United States of America. It's the soldier, Leonard Gates!
I am number 1, not number 2. If I'm not the one, I'm uncomfortable. See the competition I've been running through. Leveled up, I only see him in my rear view. Switch. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Been ballin'.
Yeah, the audience certainly getting into it tonight. He's got no air, but we don't care. Could be said of any of the 3 people on the stage at the moment, unless you're counting, of course, a beard to be feared of Dirty Harrysson Andreas, who is looking to add a special week to his Roll of Honour. A clean sweep would be his if he were to win double trouble tonight, having won a regular week and, of course, an entire series when he won Series 7. Is Dirty Harrysson feeling lucky tonight, or is Leonard Gates going to be the one to beat him? 54-year-old from Houston looking to make it through to the final, having thought he was out when he lost 3-0 earlier on. Right, the crowd settled in for this one. Hope you settled in at home as well. Neil Duff awaits the winner. Henry Deacon and Scott Mitchell will talk you through the action.
Thanks, Murph, and hair's overrated anyway. Into our second semi-final of the night as Leonard Gates and Andreas Harrysson go toe-to-toe. But who is going to be bold enough to strike their place into the final? Andreas, by winning Group 2, has got the advantage of throw in semi-final number 2. For Leonard Gates, he got his night up and running with a 3-0 victory against Steve Beaton. He'd then lose by that margin to Robert Thornton in Game 5. As for Andreas, a perfect night, a 3-0 victory against Ted Evetts, averaging 90.18. And then he got the better with Neil Duff, 3-1, averaging 88.98. So he's been the most consistent player over the course of the session.
80.
And we know it's going to be Neil that awaits in the final.
He's got no hair, and we don't care. Henry D. Oh, sorry. I was getting into it.
140.
Best
of order in the commentary box, Scott.
I'll teach you not to let me have any of your sweets. Right. On with the game. Yeah,
45.
No. This one is looking good. I have to say.
140.
Well, this sounds preposterous as a floating 4. However, this is the contender match to play the champion. Because Neil's won this before, and these two have never won this before. And Harrisson's off to the strongest start, and he's looking at a ton-plus start. If he could have found treble 15, which would have left double 8 in. That's how he hits his 9 darter in this building against fellow Nordic player Andreas Tov Jorgensen.
But you did bring up a very interesting point about Andreas here being the first one to win a week, a Champions Week,
60.
and then a Specials
Andreas
Week.
21.
There's a reason for him to want to do it. And you've now told him what he's doing. So us start players probably wouldn't have thought of that. But that's what you do as the main man in the box.
Well, he's in pole position right now. He's taken the opening leg in 15 darts. Harrysson one up. And this is the other thing. The crowd is quite all-consuming. And in a lot of games, you can have a couple of legs to get settled into it. But, for example, if you're Leonard Gates, by the time you settle into proceedings, you could be 2-0 down on the cusp of going home.
Indeed, and we're seeing a pattern here tonight about losing that first leg then makes it very difficult for you to get on. You're in on your 3 darts the very next
60.
leg. So we're seeing these 2-leg gaps all evening this evening. And you fear for Gates here. He's got to get in.
40.
He's in. But the throw has been turned already, so his advantage of throw is gone. Depending on what Harrysson does here.
85.
He's done the right thing. He's hit one big treble. And that just keeps him honest.
And in terms of power scoring, Andreas has been able to score better than Leonard over the course of the week. The stats dictate that. 2 and a bit points better off in terms of the daily averages or in terms of the overall tournament average Harrysson going
60.
into tonight. Had 10 more 180s than Gates, although granted Gates didn't play Group B on Thursday and Friday. So you sense that the key for Leonard was doubling, which has been his key strength.
100.
But it's let him down in a crucial leg.
$100.
Remember back to Leonard having that amazing 2023, didn't we? Burst onto the scene.
140.
We're going, who is this guy? He was missing nothing. He was hitting everything. It was very difficult to play because of the pace and the way that he played. That Leonard is still in there, and we don't quite see it as often as we have been.
Andreas Shukar, 116.
But he is still doing enough. That's the problem. He is still doing enough to win matches and win games. And it's
100.
there. It's inside. It's just waiting to peek its head out.
And the biggest problem is backing things up when you've had a really good year doing it a second year. And Andreas Harrysson is actually going to have a similar proposition here. 2024 was 40. So good that there's going to be an expectation 16. He continues it this year. And he looks at 8-8 for a 2-0 lead. Sweeping aside Leonard at this present moment in time.
8. Leonard to a car 161.
America looking at 161.
If we're going to talk about a momentum swing, this would do it, without doubt. Just having a little think about... I could only imagine he's visualising the shot.
Well, it doesn't go. Harrysson has missed 4 darts to the double, but he's been allowed the opportunities to do so. But he will not miss when it matters most. Harrysson 2-0 up. And he has the darts to take on Neil Duff in the double trouble free final.
So now he's just had a breaker throw. He now has the momentum, so should go in first dart. And that's what we've been seeing all evening.
80.
We've been seeing these funny little score lines of 3-0, 3-0, and this is the reason why.
Well, Robert Thornton put in the best performance of the night.
160.
But Andreas Harrysson has been the most consistent performer of the evening.
I have to say the soldier has thrown caution to the wind here. Super 160 in.
140.
And they're kicking off perfectly
59.
In the leg. Could you imagine what would happen to the roof in this place if there was a 9-darter tonight?
Good point. What would happen to it?
Well, it might cave in, and Leonard Gates is in a position here where he finds himself in all sorts of turmoil. Harrisson's put the task up to him, has to hit big, otherwise he's on the cusp of going home. The 2-week stay in Portsmouth
42.
looks set now to come to a close. The Swede 6 darts on 181, and to set up a final matchup against Neil Duff.
45.
But we do know Harrisson's got history of finishing matches off with big finishes.
Yeah, we do indeed, and
100.
so does Cam Crabtree.
America car 136.
Well, this would be some way to secure his passage through. It's not going to go. And so Leonard Gates in this game has been restricted to
60.
opportunities at 161 and now 140 to win legs. He's not going to take. And so Andreas Harrisson's going to come back. Gates thinks about his next move. It may well be his last move.
So
Andreas Harrysson
76.
to put himself in the final and to put himself within a game of history. 61 left. It's double 14.
48.
Gates
80.
gets one last go.
And
by missing that double top,
28.
Andreas Harrysson comes back. Double 14. Down for sevens.
No score. London Yukar 40.
Big moments in this match. Big, big moments. Andreas went very bold and strong at the double 14. You feel that maybe he should have gone slightly more tentative on the outer wire.
Game shot the third leg.
No matter. He's had his pocket picked.
Fourth leg landed to
by Gates.
Game on.
Well, you can see from the camera shot there the complete contrast of emotions. Andreas Harrysson solemnly nodding his head, knowing that he had an opportunity to win the game that came and went, and now the energy of Leonard Gates as he gets himself back into the match.
No score.
So you would think that the momentum was with Gates, but it seems to be with Harrysson. He wants
79.
to right the wrongs of leg 3.
No score.
That's 6 darts now for Gates. Harrysson is trying to make hay while the sun is shining, and the sun is shining in the form of Gates missing 6 darts at a double. But it's not happening, and Gates could come here with something big.
80.
He hasn't quite, and he could have put Harrysson in all sorts of problems.
But that radar's just drifting left a little bit for Andreas. Great recovery, dart 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's confidence. When you do that, you know you're in tidy nick in your game.
100.
He's taken the darts, and he now has 6 darts on 2-3-2 to eventually wrap it up. He had a number of gilt-edged opportunities in the previous leg. Leonard Gates in the background, giving himself a telling off. Maybe looking at where it went wrong for him.
$43.
Well, the race might be won for Leonard Gates. Andreas Harrysson for the match and for the final. Doesn't have to go treble 19 bull. But what he has 92. Done is he's left himself on top to go through.
Indeed, you feel that these are Leonard Gates' last darts, and the way that Leonard's throwing them, I think he 44. Feels that they're his last darts.
40.
So double top for Andreas Harrysson to set up a final with Neil Duff in double trouble 3. The Super Swede is 1 game away from history. A weekly winner, a series winner, and with 1 more win, he'll be a Specials Week winner. He is a special player, he is a special talent, and he could be on the cusp of doing something special. Andreas Harrysson 3, Leonard Gates 1 in our second semi-final. And so we have a final between Neil Duff and Andreas Harrysson, 2 of the top performers here at the Super Series over the last 2.5 years, will go toe-to-toe for one of its most coveted titles. Before that final, there'll be studio analysis with Scott Mitchell and Chris Murphy. But in the second semi-final, it's finished Andreas Harrysson 3, Leonard Gates 1.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Scott Mitchell is alongside me. Scott, we've got our final, Andreas Harrysson against Neil Duff, and both players seem to be peaking as the evening's going on.
Yeah, you could say so, and you could say they were probably the most consistent performers so far this evening. With the 3 games we've seen, we've had up and down like a fiddler's elbow from some of the other players, and these two have just stayed on that steady run, not been worried about what's been going on around them, and they've made their way to the final and been very prolific.
Not a single game, Scott, as you can see there, going to a last leg decider. Quite unusual, isn't it, particularly in this format?
Yeah, very much so, and I think, and also with, I explained it with Henry there, we're finding players go 2-0 up, they're getting broken, and then that makes them very difficult because they're thrown second in that last leg. So that's why I feel we've seen so many 3-0s and the players have lost momentum. But I like I say, I really this is a really good game coming up. Both have sort of like experienced the way that they're playing tonight. It's just been, they'll both be confident no matter what's happening to them. And I hope we have a 3-2 here.
Well, maybe we'll wait till the end. What about the semi-finals then? Start with the one that we've just seen. Andreas Harrysson, well, you mentioned it. If he gets in, then Leonard Gates would have a problem, and that proved to be the case.
Yeah, massively. And Leonard really didn't have an option. So the only option that he had was to win the leg that he had when Andreas made a mistake. Once that mistake then happened for Andreas and he went 2-1 down, it was all about, was the momentum then going to stay with Leonard? And Leonard didn't get in for 6 darts, so he made a massive boo-boo after really turning the corner. So that then left Andreas in pole position. He got straight in and was 6 darts ahead. Although Leonard got in and hit a ton, I think, to get in, but it wasn't quite enough. And he was chasing that 80-point deficit right the way down the leg.
Yeah, it's been a 2-week stay for Leonard Gates here. What do you make of it overall? Group A winner this week, made finals night both times.
Yeah, very much so. I think he's come over again, and it's difficult for the guys that are not from these shores. They've got to put all the travel in, and they have to do well to sort of make ends meet on the trip. So, it's different mindset for them. They're thinking of different things than maybe we are over here. But, once again, he's in another final, and he'd have taken that before he left the US of A, of course.
Yeah, and you mentioned before Neil Duff now living in Switzerland, so he's doing the same thing. He's overlapping Leonard Gates this week and then playing his main series stuff next week. He could be going into it having won double trouble for the second time.
Yeah, you could do. I mean, you can see it 2 ways. You could either let it be a burden to you having to do that travel, or you let it drive you on and make sure that you don't come here and do wrong things too often. And I think that's probably what both the guys have done here.
He just seemed to have another level than Robert Thornton in that semi-final, didn't he?
He did. Robert had that 100.2 in the one before, and then everybody's looking at him going, well, if he keeps on that, nobody's going to get near him. Duff himself did a 98 in that last one. So, has Duff now peaked? And he's got to try and find that. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we will find out. Neil Duff, he really did enjoy that victory as well. I think both of those players kind of felt that weight of being a double trouble champion. What do you think? Can he do it? Is Andreas Harrysson a bigger problem than Robert Thornton posed?
Yes, I believe so. I believe the momentum is with Andreas because he's just won the last game as well. I know it's a new game and things, but confidence builds. But then Duff's going to be confident with having just beaten Thornton, who was probably the people's favourite in the room. Might not have been with the bookies. I think in the room he was quite a favourite here, Thornton. But playing Duff, who was another favourite here, the crowd were a little bit on Duff's side, and maybe it affected that game for Thornton.
I've just been told, actually, that Andreas Harrysson has won the bull, so will throw first in the final. First to 3 still as well. Is that a big advantage?
Yes, I think it is. But if you're Neil Duff and you're in the Neil Duff's camp, he won the last one from throwing second, so he won't think anything of it. It'll all be about Andreas. If he can get away in that first leg, nice and crisp, first, second dart, then follow it up with a treble 20, then you're in a game.
Right, this is a standalone special week outside of the main Modus Super Series cycle, but these titles really are coveted by the players, and this is a roll of honour. Neil Duff winning the first ever one, in fact. The Double Trouble did kick off our specials weeks last year. Duff taking that first title. Rhian O'Sullivan, the first Women's Week winner, followed by Kirsty Vinakainen, who's gone on, of course, to win a Women's Series in the PDC today. Robert Thornton winning Double Trouble 2, as discussed, and the first one of this year was the Legends League, Richie House, and there's plenty of other ones coming up as well for the first time. We're going to have a 16 to 21-year-old tournament. The one that seems to be getting everybody talking is international pairs played on the Super Series stage for the first time. What do you enjoy about these specials weeks?
The thing I enjoy about the specials week is they're very different to what we see televised, any other time of the year. I think we've all seen the PDC bring the World Masters back and that best of three format, and that's really interesting. I think that's where darts needs to go now. We need to find more interesting things, more angles to come in, because the options are there. There are options to bring in other games, and I think that here at the Super Series and at the Live Lounge, it's ready made for that type of thing.
Yeah, you've commentated on some of them. You've played in a Double Trouble yourself as well. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I very much enjoyed Double Trouble, and I hope to play in another one, sort of like whenever the next one is. But any specials week is really privileged to be part of, because it's new, it's groundbreaking, and something that people haven't always seen.
Well, we've actually got a highlight to show you of your visit to Double Trouble last time you were here. Is Scott Mitchell starting a leg, going for treble 20. What happened there, Scott? There's a wry smile.
Well, in fact, I was going for tops. It just slipped out of my hand. I don't think I was going. I've just gone with it and let you all say that I was going for treble 20. But even my little giggle and laugh with O in there, yeah, whatever.
Plenty of highlights this week, though. We no better place to start than Robert Thornton's record-breaking 108 average. Stunning level in this format.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, records are there to be broken, and Robert did that sort of well and truly. That's as close to a perfect game as you're going to get, really. It's double in and 108 average. Steve West, once again, on the end of another one. He doesn't have a lot of luck, does Westy here? But, it's been a really good week, and a positive week for darts and a positive week for the Live Lounge.
All we seem to be missing in this format so far is the 9-darter. In fact, we haven't had one in any format on a Saturday night, but we did see Ross Montgomery, newly crowned World Seniors champion, go pretty close as anyone's come. He went 7 darts into the perfect leg. That really would be an achievement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it just shows the form that Ross is in at the moment. He's lost his card last year and come back, and he's really he's had a year sort of to find his way again and try and pick out where he wants to play and what he's doing. And we're seeing him throw some great stuff, and it's just he's not even reacted, which is the best bit for me. Maybe he didn't realise, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah, certainly. Robert Thornton, of course, has hit a 9-darter in Double Trouble format, double start format, should I say, at the World Grand Prix. James Wade hit one in the very same match. Steve Beaton not around long this evening, but there was a little comical moment with him earlier this week as well. So he does get off, Steve Beaton. He's not sure that he has got off, and he just carries on throwing at tops, and even switched to double 1. They say the eyes are the first thing to go, Scott.
Yeah, it is. At least he went for a double to start and didn't know that it was in. But yeah, he's found it amusing, and that's what darts has got to be fun first and foremost.
They're certainly having fun down in the auditorium this evening. They're going to watch a final in a few moments' time between Neil Duff and Andreas Harrysson. You just look at the sort of the way things have gone for them this evening. It's Andreas who's got the perfect record of the pair because they've already played. How much could he take from that win that he had in Group 2?
Yeah, I think he has to take something from that. He has to find something. These are games that are won by moments. You've got to get certain moments right. There are moments to steal, there are moments to hold, and whichever of the players get that right, they will end up picking up the trophy.
Who wins it for you?
I think Harrysson just about.
Okay, Scott Mitchell has spoken. Andreas Harrysson will take on Neil Duff in the final of Double Trouble 3 after this break.
you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrysson. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrysson.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Littler!
And this is what the best of 5 format does. Because in the space of 3.5 minutes, Neil Duff is a leg away from the final. It looks like Robert Thornton's title defence is about to come to an end. Because the double... So double top for Andreas Harrysson to set up a final.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Modus Live Lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series Double Trouble 3 Finals Night and your Grand Final live on Pluto TV. Please put your hands together first of all and welcome our first finalist from Sweden, Dirty Harrysson, Andreas Harrysson! Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage our second finalist of the evening. From Northern Ireland, it's the Duff man, Neil Duff!
Well, they're up for it. Neil Duff and Andreas Harrysson are revelling in the revelry here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Is Duff going to do the double, having won the inaugural Double Trouble Championship here last year? Can the former world champion ensure his place as the undisputed king of Double Trouble darts here at the Modus Super Series? Or will the smiling Swede, Andreas Harrysson, add another trophy to his mantelpiece? Harrysson, of course, who won Series 7, has won a normal week, a Champions Week, and now he's looking to add a special week for the clean sweep. Neil Duff, the 52-year-old from Ballyclare in Northern Ireland, now residing in Switzerland, is looking to do the Double Trouble double. Which way will it go? We will find out. Again, it is just that short, sharp format, a race to 3 legs to win that trophy and get a medal around the neck. And Henry Deacon is alongside Scott Mitchell to talk you through every dart in commentary.
Well, Neil Duff has had his 7-nation. He's hoping now for a second coronation here at Double Trouble. He won the first title. He's now looking to win Double Trouble 3. But up against him, Andreas Harrysson, who stands on the edge of history. No player has won a weekly title, series title and specials week title. And in the cauldron, they go head to head. They shake hands and the first darts in anger are thrown. It's a shorter format, as you'll see in a big final, a best of 5 legs. A start is important, and maybe even the bull-off in the practice room could be important. Andreas winning that, but Neil getting off to a strong start. What wins this, Scott?
Scoring like this. Right on cue. Andreas got in quickly.
100.
Somehow you've got to stay relaxed and throw with freedom over such a short format. Is not easy. The arm goes tight. The head starts thinking, and here we go.
5.
Back to 180 with a 5, and that will be music to Neil Duff's ears. First moment in the match, this. First moment in the match that you have to get right.
100.
Well, the first slip is Harrisson's. Duff is punished to a degree, but can rectify the situation with another big score here, though.
140.
140 he's in first to a finish, but Duff able to leave something a bit more makeable, potentially, if he can hit big.
125.
Hit big he will. He'll find a couple of trebles. He's on a 2 darter in comparison to the 136 of Harrysson, of which he's not going to get. And so Duff will return for 76 to draw first blood in the final.
78. Neil Duff, 76.
So should get a dart here. Should get at least 1 dart. It's going to be 2.
Game short of first leg. Neil Duff.
And that's a break of throw for Neil Duff, and Andreas Harrysson will be ruining that score of 5 to follow that 180.
Well, Neil Duff quite literally telling the crowds for the best of order at that particular moment. There was actually people that were trying to support him, just calling out at an ill-opportune time. Let's hope that isn't going to affect the final, and that's going to be the only flashpoint of it. Harrysson off perfectly at the beginning of leg 2. Off to a 160 start. Well, there's some of the younger fans in the audience.
Yeah, super stuff from Andreas Harrysson.
No score.
Really, really super stuff, because he would have been feeling as low as ever that he felt on a dartboard after that last leg because of that 5. Duff gets in, but it's going to have to be big.
61.
Not really going to trouble Andreas. He's going to turn the corner this time round.
140.
And he's now, as you can see, 350 or so ahead.
Well, he's powering past Duff in terms of scoring turns. He's had
4 visits of 2 troubles or more, including the
74.
max. Neil Duff hasn't had 1 in this game. And there is complete and utter daylight. 300 points, the best part between the pair in this leg.
66.
He's got as much time as he wants from double 4 onwards.
Yeah, sometimes you can have too much time and that will not be what he wanted.
100. Andreas Jukka 8.
Duff now just going through the motions, really. Andreas has to be careful
He's
here.
on the
I was going to
second
say, he
leg.
doesn't want to be
Andreas
leaving himself on
Harrysson.
double 1.
Third leg, Andreas to throw first. Game on.
Pair 14 darters apiece, 1 apiece in this final. High quality affair, as you'd expect for a final of this magnitude and of 2 players of each other's calibre.
40.
I'm fortunate with that one. That was a genuine wire, dart on wire bounce out because there was no other dart around. But lovely camera shot there from our team, getting that overhead shot
80.
into the double. We do reiterate this is a purpose-built studio to film darts at the highest level.
60.
That's everything you get here at the Live Lounge.
We haven't seen a 3-2 game tonight, but both the double trouble finals have gone
60.
to a last leg decider. Neil Duff beat Jim McEwen by that scoreline in double trouble 1. Robert Thornton came back from 2-0 behind to beat Ted Evetts by that scoreline, by that margin in the second such final. Andreas Harrysson piling in his second max of the match. Is he beginning to make his move now?
It does look to be the case, and
82.
ironically, Andreas Harrysson hasn't hit a 180 all evening until the final. No better time to start getting them out.
100.
What do they say about peaking at the right time? And we know what this 1-2-1 checkout can do for Andreas.
97. Andreas Jukka 121.
He doesn't have to go for the bull if he doesn't want to. Instead, he elects to start on the bull.
81.
Tops left.
Really good last start from that recovery. His head would have been going all over the place when he hit that 2, leaving 119, but he recovered it nicely.
42. Andreas Jukka 40.
You got the break in the previous leg. This actually be the first hold in the match.
20.
Looks a little bit anxious on those doubles going out, doesn't he? Looks really positive on the ones getting in. But he's going to return. And he has to gather his thoughts here.
Andreas Jukka 20.
Does Harrysson.
Game shot on the third
Yeah,
leg.
nicely done.
Andreas Harrysson.
Nothing silly with the first one, because in
leg
those
Neil
situations
first.
you can drag
Come
one
on.
into a 15 or push one into the 6 by going full bore at it. Duff now has the pressure by getting in, and he's done that.
100.
Oh, and he's got in nicely as well.
So here we go then. Andreas Harrysson standing on the cusp of history, 1 leg away from becoming the first player to win all
100.
3 of the Triple Crown of weeks that you can win here. A weekly title, a series title, and a specials week title.
44. $97. $60.
Well, that's a slip there from Neil, and it's presented an opportunity here for Harrysson.
It really has, but it's only an opportunity if you take it. Oh, and he's waded in here.
140.
He's beginning to bring this final to a close, isn't he? Very quickly, very calmly, and very controlled.
Yeah, I said it
60. Andreas
in the
Jukka
interview there
164.
in the studio just before the break. He's been sharp and steady all evening this evening. Never really
52.
lighting the blue touch paper, but he has, right when he needed, those 180s.
100.
So then,
Andreas Jukka
Andreas
112.
Harrysson, 112 points away from history.
It's double top.
72.
It's a match dart, a championship dart that's come and gone.
Top's top, surely, from Duff. It hasn't quite gone.
77. Andreas Jukar, 40.
Annoyed with himself there.
Is this it?
Game.
Andreas Harrysson completes the set.
Super Series. Double trouble free from Sweden. Dirty Harrysson. Andreas Harrysson.
Andreas Harrysson, a weekly winner, series winner, and now a specials week winner. He is one of the very best who have played under this roof, and now he has won everything that is available to him by beating one of the great champions in Neil Duff.
Yeah, what an excellent game there from Andreas Harrysson. He was using and getting in nice and quickly. I did fear for him when he hit that 5 after the 180, but look at those steady Eddie averages, just shy of 90 for Andreas, where he's been most of the evening. He's done an 88, he's done a 90, an 83 in his semi-final, and now he pops up at an 89 in the final, just what he needed. Duff wasn't quite at the races with his 73 there, but he really did give it his all. He's been a former champion and loses out in the final, so no disgrace in that. That's the story and the tale of the tape. We'll head on to some more. We'll head on to some more stuff down on stage and some more reaction to how the final went.
Yeah, Andreas Harrysson adding his name to the Roll of Honour of Special Week winners. Neil Duff, of course, stays there, but he does not manage to do that double trouble double. Thornton lost in the semi-finals to Duff tonight, but it was Andreas Harrysson who managed to supersede them both, the Super Swede, joining those two, Rhiannon O'Sullivan and Kirsty Vinnekainen, the Women's Week winners, and the Legends League champion, Richie Howson, completing that Roll of Honour. Andreas then has completed the set, and he is on stage with Henry Deacon.
Andreas Harrysson, you are a history maker. The first ever player to have won a weekly title, a Champions Week title, and then a Specials Week title. We'll talk about this particular trophy in a second, but I just want to talk about how much that means, because you're the first ever player to have done it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, thanks for the crowd. I think they did a lot to me this night.
I think you've made a lot of friends tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you all. Love you.
Let's talk about the final against Neil. I know you played against him in the group stages. And then in terms of that final against him, did you feel like you played your best darts in the final?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think I don't know where I played my best darts, but I played quite decent all the week, so I don't know.
In terms of that match, obviously, big crowd, big atmosphere, big game. Was it about keeping it together and holding your nerve in the key moments, particularly against a player like Neil?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I try to keep it together and give something for the crowd, but yeah, I think I managed to do a bit of it.
This is another one for you. If you put everything together, this is now the 5th time you've won here. 6th time you've won here at the Super Series. You include the Champions Week title. That means that you've now won more weeks than any other player ever here. And that includes some really good names.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. I hope I can come back and do some more.
What's the magic? What's the secret formula towards Andreas Harrisson's success here at the Super Series?
I don't know. I just love Portsmouth. I think Modus Super Series is great. I think it's great for me.
And you've been great for us. And guess what? You know what time it is again. It is presentation time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Double Trouble 3 champion, Andreas "Dirty" Harrysson!
Yeah, Andreas Harrysson enjoying that moment, and rightly so. Just loves it here in Portsmouth, as he said. Scott Mitchell's alongside me, just watching him revel in this moment. And they really have kind of taken Harrysson to their hearts here in Portsmouth, haven't they?
They have this evening, and rightly so. He's a really nice guy, and to be setting records like he is, so far away from home as well. These things are easier to do on your doorstep, but he has to make that extra effort, that extra travel, and that extra cost that comes with coming over here. It's great when you're achieving, because you're repaying back all the faith that you've given yourself and your supporters and your fans and your sponsors. And he's just a genuine nice guy, and it's always good to see it happening to really nice people.
Yeah, smiling, isn't he, beneath that beard as well? You can see that big grin on his face. So plenty of the audience wanted Neil Duff to win as well. Didn't go his way, but you can't argue with the way that Andreas Harrysson handled himself in the semis and the final, particularly tonight.
No, absolutely. And of course, there was a lot of fan support here for Neil Duff tonight. And had Neil got on top of Andreas early doors, then it maybe could have been a different answer. The crowd could have influenced what went on. But what he's done, he's got his head down, got on and done his job, even in the adversity of hitting that 5 after that 180. That would destroy a lot of minds and think, it's not my night. He didn't allow that to happen. The very next leg comes in with a 160 and says, I'm not going away, and redefines the moment.
Well, it certainly was his night, and here is the story of it. Andreas Harrysson winning every single game he played. A 3-0 win against Evetts, but 1 foot in the semi-finals. He confirmed that he would win the group when he beat Neil Duff, who'd also beat Evetts in Group 2, and then a 3-1 win over Leonard Gates in the semis before another 3-1 victory against Duff in the final. No match going to a last leg decider tonight. Steve Beaton had a sorry evening, losing 3-0 in both games. Ted Evetts as well out after just a couple of matches tonight. It's classic Andreas Harrysson, isn't it? Everybody else was involved in a little bit of kind of drama somewhere, but he just stayed strong, steady and solid.
Yeah, he did. He just, it's like he's treading water. Whether underneath that water his feet are going 10 to the dozen, but he just looks so calm. He looks so calm in any situation. That it's not many moments that seem to own Andreas on the dartboard. He seems to come through them, particularly here. It seems to be happening, and I'm so pleased for him, because he's just a genuine nice guy. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been pleased that Duff had won it. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been pleased that Thornton won it. I think the right person run on the night tonight. He showed his consistency, did it against the players when he needed to do it, and was probably the rightful winner.
And as Henry put to him on the stage there, he's now won more trophies or more titles than anybody else here at the Super Series. He's completed the full set, the first player to do that, winning a standard week, a Champions Week, and now a special week as well. A couple of times in the last couple of years, he's been amongst the front runners with the bookies to get a tour card at Q School. But he's showing that there is life outside the PDC, isn't he, with his success here?
Yeah, very much so, and I think he's one that, particularly sort of this time round, he's very disappointed that he didn't get a tour card, because I mean the Pro Tour deserved to have somebody like him on it. He may not be the youngest face, he wouldn't be the youngest face on the Pro Tour, but he'd be another fresh face from another country, and that's exactly what we're looking for. But here, I think we should ban him, stop him coming. He's won everything. Now let's give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, that's only because you play here as well, Scott. But yeah, and I mean, what he's done here, has he become something of a kind of cult hero through the Super Series?
I think so. I think the fact that he loves the place. I think anybody that's ever thrown a dart here, whether it's gone right or wrong, we know the place is built for dart players to play your very best game. And if you don't come here and play your best game, it's your own fault. So he's kind of come here most of the time that he's been here. It hasn't all been success for him every single time that he's been here. He's had to overcome sort of, disappointments and everything else. But he keeps overcoming them. He keeps sort of having that little dip and then coming back stronger. And I think the Double Trouble Week is one of the hardest things to win. And he's achieved it, so he should go home, and the country should be proud of him, and I'm sure all his family, and I've met his little lads who are the same size as him, with the same ZZ top beards. So, they'll all be pleased tonight, and I hope they have a drink for him tonight.
Yeah, it's becoming a badge of honour, isn't it, as well, winning one of these special weeks. Double Trouble, just your reflections on the week as a whole.
I think, again, all these special weeks, it's a great idea. I think it brings something very different to the game, brings something very different to the sport. And long may that continue, because I want to see these double trouble weeks, because we're seeing different winners every time as well. That's one thing that we're noticing.
Right, let's just break away for a moment and just give you a reminder of what's coming up next week here at the Modus Super Series. Group A, Anthony Allen, John Worsley, Neil Duff stays here, Andrew McDermott, Kevin Edwards and Rick Hessing. Group B, Conan Whitehead, Martin Turner and the senior semi-finalist Derek Coulson. Local lad Lloyd Walker, a debut for Aaron Turner. I'm not sure if Laura is going to be in commentary watching her husband at all next week. But she may be. Watch out for that. And Charlie Manby, who's been putting up trees on the development tour, in action as the main series gets back underway. Week 7 of Series 10 starting at 9:30 a.m. on Monday. Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure here at Super Series. Just one final word on Andreas Harrysson. As we said, completed the set. Where does he rank in terms of the greats at the Super Series?
Well, he's right up there. He's very right up there. And we're talking not just greats here, we're talking greats in his country. He should be known as the Super Swede, surely. The way that he's bringing titles back to the country. So, yeah, he's special here. He's a special person. And we're lucky to have him in the sport. Yeah, and I think the audience tonight, they enjoyed watching him as well. We've enjoyed your company as well, Scott. Thank you. We'll see you again very soon. And we hope to see you again very soon as well. Plenty of stuff for you to watch, of course, here on the 24/7 Darts channel on Pluto TV. Coming up, actually, the vault of another specials week, the Legends League finals night that was held here at the Live Lounge earlier this year. And it was a packed house, full of drama and some big names in action. Some who have been here tonight as well, including Steve Beaton, who didn't have the night that he was hoping for. Lost every single leg that he played tonight in Group 1. But it was Andreas Harrysson who managed to go and win the title in the end. A fantastic evening for the Super Swede. Don't forget, of course, that we are going to see him and Steve Beaton later in the series as well. But do stay tuned to the channel for that Legends League and be back on Monday morning for the start of Week 7 of Series 10. It all gets underway from 9:30. And next Saturday from 7:30 p.m, we'll see another winner on the Live Lounge stage. Bye from us for now.
What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes, and the target is
And it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout push.
Dirty Harrysson! Van Velzen!
54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score, leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts, but he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
jockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20, he went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie,
Threw the entire body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go!
Couldn't get the job
It.
done.
The match, and the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife.